21st century casualty. Open your eyes, you're losing control. Open your eyes, put down the phone. Conditioned by misinformation, it's just the media telling us lies. Decide the fiction from the truth. Society's slow and tragic demise. Open your eyes, you're losing control. Open your eyes, put down the phone. Everyone's got their fucking opinion. Yo, come on now. Get your shoes and socks on, kids. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, episode 406. I'm ready. You're ready. We're ready. The New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. What's up? Yeah, I got a good feeling about today. And I don't say that about everything, right? Good to see everybody. What's up, Spikey? What's up, Gabriel? Good. Robert Hogg in Scotland holding it down. Red, gold, green dub. The gang's all here. Here we go. What's up, Jose? Listen, I'm not here to cha-cha around. All right? Let me bring it. Let's just get down to brass tacks here. I know you want to bullshit for a while, but I'm not here to bullshit with you. You know? What's up, Ryan? What's up, Daniel? Good. Steve Bosco coming out of the woodwork. Cacarochas. Let me introduce my co-host today. She's an artist and a bit of a musician hailing from Long Island, New York. She's the co-founder of Women of the Pit, which highlights fans and bands of hardcore punk while supporting gender equality since 2020. Coming at us from Cape Cod, Massachusetts, Lori Dawn.
Woo! Okay.
And we need to fine-tune that a little bit.
Yeah, I got an intro.
You got an intro now.
Yeah.
Got your own little intro. I'm somebody. It's like that scene in The Jerk when Steve Martin gets the phone book, right? I'm sorry, the name's in the phone book, right?
I feel all important now.
You know? Jesus.
It's great.
What happened? Wow, you took the covers off the furniture. Well, it's like
Covers off the furniture today. I feel like it's a big event today. We got a big show. So as everyone can see here, let me point. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with the cats.
It's like my old Jewish grandmother took the plastic off the furniture. I've never seen that.
I know.
My dad calls it Jewish provincial furniture.
They had something to that plastic, because yeah.
Yeah, especially in the summer when your body would stick to it.
Yeah, disgusting animals, disgusting humans on my pink couches. So, yeah.
Speaking of humans, the hardcore shutterbug.
No, disgusting humans.
Speaking
Who are you calling human?
Hey.
More
hey,
human than human.
Is that you last night I saw get kicked in the head at the Vinnie Stigma 70th birthday bash?
I got kicked well.
You got
right in the head. Yeah, somebody came over the top and I got like a full scale. I saw tweeting birds. It was you know what? It was worth it though. We couldn't move because it was all the security pressing the photographers against the thing. But yeah, I got my bell rung pretty hard yesterday.
And that was at this. For those that are wondering, last night here in New York City was the big Vinnie Stigma Agnostic Front 70th birthday show at Irving Plaza.
There he is.
There he is. Rocking a non-resident shirt. Wow.
Yeah, they had to love that.
Yeah, that's right. And that's right, Ray Hogan. DMC, our friend and supporter of the show. Here's a shot of him performing with Roger.
Yeah, go. They did the new single. What was that? Matter of Life and Death together.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
And
Steve got clonked. Yep.
Yeah, I did. It was great. It really, I mean, Violent Way and Raw Brigade opened up, and But AF, I mean, as soon as AF went on, it was mayhem. In fact, bodies flying over. I saw, Rat Bones came out of retirement, flying over the top. Jimmy Ferrari. As a nice, there we go. There's Jimmy. There's the other Jimmy.
Yeah.
Look at this. You got Jimmy. Yeah, I see Eugene.
Yeah.
John Watson back. John Watson came out and sang.
Yeah, I saw that. That was I was watching Instagram lives all night.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
There's 6 people on that stage that have been on this show.
Yeah.
Craig Silverman on guitar, Raj, Jimmy G, Stigma, Gallo, and Eugene. On Eugene from Go Go Bordello.
And
That's
there's
awesome.
Big Bob right in the background too. He's about to come on.
Who?
Big Bob.
Oh, Rob Castoria, right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it was I knew it was going to be a blast of a night, and it really was. And thankfully, like, everyone went on like a few minutes early. It felt like it was. it really was.
Oh, and there's you know who that is on the right?
There's
yeah.
That is Joe Ramini from the Texas Silver Rush, our oldest sponsor for the show.
And is that Paula?
That's Paula. Yeah,
That's awesome.
That's Paula, and of course, the
birthday boy.
You know, Joe Ramini from the Texas Silver Rush is Vinnie Stigma's cousin.
Yeah.
Oh, Larry Kelly driving and listening. Yo, I got Larry Kelly. Larry Kelly. It just so happens. Where's my Larry? Yeah, Larry Kelly was in a. I'm looking for my Larry Kelly. Here he is. Here's Larry Kelly, and with the one, the only, who I had a great conversation with, DMC.
That's a great shot.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw Larry up on stage at the end too. As a matter of fact.
Yeah, he was filming from stage. Yeah, I saw his. I was watching his lives.
I still have my Run DMC gold record from the video we did.
That's it.
Back in the day.
I'm still waiting for him to show up at our Women of the Pit coat drive.
I should call him. I talked to him. I actually talked to him this morning. I should text him.
He was going to come last year, so yeah, invite him again. Anyway.
You know what? And here's a Vinnie Stigma got a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yes, that's right.
Handed to him by Mike DeJean. You know.
Yeah. Mike is great. Mike was running the whole show yesterday, you know?
It's all good, but I think about like 350 people. Like, I shook hands with about 150 people, and probably about 350 people breathed in my fucking face last night. So listen, if you see me out, it's mandatory. Just come up to me and go, right in my fucking face, all right? It's mandatory. Like, I got to ask our guest today how he does it. Like, as I got older, like the whole Michael Jackson thing with the germs, it doesn't really feel that far out. It's like, listen, if you see me in public now, this is how, you ready? This is what you do. You ready? Here you go. That's it. You do this, and I do this, and we're good. That's it.
Not even speaking. No, the mouth doesn't open. No,
that's it. Like we were saying, Drew just wants to exist in the matrix.
That's
no
right.
more human organic interactions. That's it. Just exist in the matrix.
That's it. You know what?
You really have nothing to say to me.
For now on, I'll just bring a FaceTime of you with me, and people can say hello to you through the phone.
God, it's so fucking disgusting. I can't handle it anymore. I'm like and people people starting to think I'm a dick, because I'm not like, yo, your new band, awesome.
Oh, thing. You don't participate. You ever see that Seinfeld episode? He didn't want to hug people. He got ostracized.
That's right.
Oh, hug people? Are you kidding?
No, he didn't want to kiss them in the hallway.
Yeah, he got ostracized. That's what's going to happen.
That's
what you want. My man John, who I saw in San Francisco, said, I kept my distance at the GBH show. I had a feeling.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, bro. Love you, bro.
That's it.
Listen, if you see me in public, I really want to hear about your new band, or better yet, I want to hear about the band you were in 30 years ago for at least 15 minutes. And make sure you don't brush your teeth for about a week beforehand. Whatever.
All right, now we
This
know.
from the man who wrote a song called Punisher.
Yeah, right. That's right. We have a song called Punisher,
There's a
right?
reason.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I love everybody. You know?
All right. All right.
All right, enough with me being an ass. Enough with me being an asshole. Oh wait, you know what speaking of agnostic front, you know who I just had breakfast with this morning? How about Roger Moret from Agnostic Front and Mark Yoshi from
There you go.
Yeah, down at the Waverly Diner.
Mark from Generation Records.
Mark from Generation Records.
Right.
You
over
are
there
making
today.
physical contact there, though. You realize that?
Yeah. Well,
I guess Roger's special.
Well, this is the way I figure it, is that like Roger probably at this point has the immunity of like Superman, because no matter how many people have breathed in my face, it's probably 300 times fold with that guy, and he's still standing. So,
Yeah.
But that was cool. I had breakfast
That's
with
awesome.
those guys.
Right now they're having an event over there at Generation Records today. So
That's right. That's right.
it's going well.
Yep.
My good
All right.
friend-
Hey, let me get the let's get the show on the road.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Stephen, we'll see you in a little bit. All right. Let me say that this is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, and we are sponsored by the Texas Silver Rush, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Generation Records, 126 Hardcore Clothing, Women of the Pit, She Devils Coven, and our newest, latest, and greatest sponsor, Minty Fresh presents our promotion company that put on hardcore metal shows at Locals Bar in Manalapan, New Jersey. Founded by Chris Gullis of Bulldoze and Frankie DeAngelis of Silence Equals Death, a Polish guy and an Italian guy from Jersey. The shows are all ages with plenty of free parking. The kitchen's open all night and the bar till 2 a.m. If you're a band looking to play and you don't totally suck, or even if you do suck but draw a bunch of people, reach out to them at mintyfreshpresents@gmail.com. Ticket pre-sales for events are available at mintyfreshnewjersey.com. Check them out on Instagram at mintyfreshnewjersey and help spread the word to support DIY hardcore and metal in Central New Jersey. Minty Fresh presents. There you go. That's our latest sponsor.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. All right, let's bring our guest on. Let me clear the deck, make sure everybody's okay. Nobody's killing each other in the chat room. Everybody's good. Yeah. Good. Everybody's good. Here we go. Today's guest is an American singer-songwriter hailing from the Golden State of California. In his incredibly proficient career, he is best known for his work with the bands Armored Saint, Anthrax, Metal Allegiance, and Category 7. Please welcome, coming at us from Los Angeles, California, Mr. John Bush. Brother.
Hi, guys. What's happening?
What's up, John?
You guys run a good show here, man. That was entertaining, just watching and listening.
Get ready.
I'm glad you didn't run away yet.
We have a passionate fan base, you know.
I got some coffee. I'm fired up. I see that. That's awesome. And I love all those pictures. Those are great. Such a
cool.
It looks like a rad show, and Irving Plaza, such a killer venue.
Yeah, it was good. It was a special night. It really was.
That's cool.
I mean, these are guys like kids these are guys I grew up with here in New York. So
That's
it's
great.
Pretty incredible, you know. I mean, it's pretty incredible in the regards that, you know, here's a band like Armored Saint, right, that started, you know, in the early 82, 83, and you know, kind of like the last man standing here, you know. So it's pretty great, and they're playing a place like Irving Plaza, and everybody came out. It was really great.
That's good. It was worth to endure all the breath that you were getting upon with.
It's getting to me, bro.
I hear you. Well, you got to believe in your immune system. You'll be all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to.
Pretty much.
That's
So
what I
let's
tell myself.
I mean, before we move on, I mean, how do you, before we go to the beginning, I mean, how do you deal with that going out on the road? Like, I mean, as far as I know, you go out on the road, you take a flight, you show up on the other side, immediately you get sick. You're in the van with everybody. You know, like, is there any way you've like dealt with that through the years?
Oh, I've dealt with it recently, actually. I've even had to, the last couple tours I did, I had to have a replacement for a few shows. I got so sick and I couldn't sing. So it was pretty disheartening. And luckily, Jason McMaster, who's a good friend of mine who plays in the band Dangerous Toys and such a huge fan of Armored Saint, he came out and bailed me out a couple times, which is, I give him props still to this day, of course, about it. But yeah, you know, you just can't be too paranoid about it because then what's the point? There's no fun in that. You got to go out and believe in your immune system. And, you know, you kind of try to do all the things you can do to protect yourself and stay as healthy as possible. But you never know. You mentioned Seinfeld, and it's like that scene where Elaine coughs on the pasta primavera because I get so sick. And so, I mean, like, you don't know who's sick and who's not. You know, you can't, there's no way to know. So you have to believe in yourself and just feel like you can overcome it and just, you know, be as healthy as you can. But certainly for singers, you know, you have to be a little more cautious than say drummers. No disrespect to drummers, but
or bass player.
Or bass players or even guitar players. I mean, you could pull it off if you're snotting and you're, you know, sick, but singers, you know, it's kind of hard. So
it is, man. I mean, being somewhat of a singer myself, it's hard, man. You know, not enough sleep, crappy food, you know, people breathing all over you. And then you got to go on stage and scream your brains out. And it's like, yeah,
it's tough at times, but you just, again, like I said, if you think about it too much, you'd probably never go on tour.
You're right.
Be paranoid. So there's no point. You just got to go, I'll do it. I was at a show last night and I was in a pretty small club going, and I have a show next week. And I was, but I'm like, you know what? I'll be all right. So,
Give a few days of incubation, and then like you wake up on Wednesday and you're like, all right, I didn't get sick. Cool. I'm ready. Yeah, I did it.
So let's bounce the ball back and forth, Sean, a little bit. How did you come up? Did you grow up in a musical household? How did music come into your life?
You know, I really didn't. I mean, my parents were super supportive of me through the years, especially in the early days. But my brother, he did some plays that were, you know, that was his thing. So he did well with it, but not really played an instrument or anything. And neither one of my parents did. I was lucky enough. I had a next door neighbor who, him and I basically, and a bunch of other guys, Joey and Gonzo from Armored Saint, we kind of all just discovered music around the same time. And I always give props to my original next door neighbor, one of my best friends growing up. His name was David Avila, and he was the guy who found a lot of bands. He'd be like, check out this new band. They're called Thin Lizzy. They're really cool. And I was like, wow, that's cool. Check out this band. I saw them. They kind of look like Kiss, but they all wear white. They're called Angel. And I was like, rad. So, I mean, like, these are the kind of, he was really one of those guys, and every peer group probably has one who was just adventurous and found a lot of bands.
Sure.
He was the guy who did it. And so he was the guy who kind of got us all into music, really. And then he was the guy who I did my first show with.
Excuse me. Did you grow up in like LA proper?
We grew up in Armored Saint, Joey Vera, Gonzo, and Phil Sandoval. We grew up literally like about 2 blocks from one another.
Oh, wow.
In El Sereno, which is like a little small enclave of Los Angeles, East LA. It's probably like Northeast LA, if you will, but it's part of the East LA area. And we lived in this town called El Sereno, predominantly Latino neighborhood. And it was, you know, lower middle class, pretty rough at times. Still is a little bit. Gonzo and Phil still live there, actually.
Wow.
They take care of her, which is nice. And it was just a cool place to grow up. It was like, a rough neighborhood, but, you know, we all kind of discovered music, like I said, and had a lot of friends. And a lot of those friends give them a lot of props because they were the ones who actually started coming to Armored Saint shows and going crazy, and it really just kind of multiplied from that. Eventually, I transferred schools to South Pasadena, which was like a middle upper class neighborhood. I was like, I got to do something else here and meet some new people here. And I was glad I did that because that's where I met Dave Pritchard, who ended up being, the main guitar player of Armored Saint in the early years. And Dave died in 1990, but of leukemia, which was a big drag. And Lori met Dave, and she knows him, but incredible player. And so that's kind of how we bridged these kind of two neighborhoods together. And it was really cool because a lot of people then ended up becoming friends from El Sereno and South Pass, and it trickled down to other bands, it trickled down to just other friends, and it was really cool. And it was like the catalyst to kind of bring it all together. And me and a guy named Zeno Franco, we were the first ones to transfer schools and meet people in South Pass. So, and it was funny because so South Pass bordered El Sereno, but at one point there was a street that I went through. It was Van Horn and El Sereno, and then it connected to Villa del Rey and I think that's the name, something like that, Villa del something in South Pass. And the South Pass community put a wall there. They literally put a wall because they didn't want people driving through, because they didn't want people from El Sereno going into South Pass. You could walk through, but you couldn't drive through, which was like pretty lame. Right? So we would go around.
We got to keep the riffraff out, right?
Exactly. They kind of wanted to keep the Latinos out, quite frankly, to be put blunt.
What was the first music as a young person that like really spoke to you, that you felt like this is my music?
Well, the first band I ever saw was Kiss. That was at Anaheim Stadium.
Here we go with Kiss again.
I mean, everybody has it, right? But it was saw Kiss at Anaheim Stadium, the Destroyer tour. I was like 12 when I went. It was, where the Angels play baseball at Anaheim Stadium.
Sure.
So it was a classic show. It was Kiss, Ted Nugent, Bob Seger, and Montrose, I think was the 4 band.
Wow.
I was young. I went, and it was amazing. It was a great show and legendary, and it was the first show that I ever went to. And there's a lot of people with their faces painted, and I was young. I was kind of like intimidated by the whole thing, and that got the ball rolling. And it was kind of, I think at this point, everybody some way, somehow down the line connected with Kiss in the early days of their life and music. I think it's pretty fair to say.
And you went to Woodrow Wilson High School, right?
I did. That was where I was in El Sereno. Again, most of my friends and peers were from that. Then eventually I got transferred schools to South Pass, and that's where I met Dave. Probably, a lot of people are like, dude, you're leaving the neighborhood, and why are you leaving? And I was like, well, I guess I was yearning for something else, but I'm glad I did that because that's where I met Dave, and then that's kind of how Armored Saint kind of got together.
Could you just do that back then? Like, I'm changing high schools.
There was people in my neighborhood who moved to that neighborhood, and they lived on my street, and we used their address. So we people do still to this day to different schools, and that's what we did. And then Gonzo ended up transferring the next year, and he used the address from some girl who worked at the local hamburger stand that we went to, and she lived there. So I was like, "Can I use your address to change schools?" And she goes, "Yeah."
Wow.
So that's what people did, and that's how we all did it. And
you guys were crafty.
We were crafty, and we were like, we got to do it. And here's a funny story. It's like, to get to Dave's house, who lived in the hills of South Pass, we would have gone through this street they blocked off, but there was a different way to go. But I guess we were slightly kind of embarrassed of where we grew up because it was a rough neighborhood, and we were trying to fit in with these South Pass people. So we would make him go like all the way around these other streets and, playing this game with that he didn't know. And eventually he's like, why do I got to go this way to take you guys home when I could go right down this street and it's so much closer? And we're like, well, of course. But I guess we were slightly kind of sheepish about it. And he's like, well, dude, I mean, we were friends. And he's like, I'm going this way now. I'm not going all the way that way. It was pretty funny.
Was Royal Decree the first band?
Well, Royal Decree was like the first band. Yeah, that was well, actually it was Rhapsody. That was the band I was in this band with the next door neighbor David, who we played the talent show, and that was like the first time I ever performed. And that was at our junior high school, El Sereno Junior High School, probably 1978. So
wow.
And I'm sure we were terrible and probably sounded horrible, but it was great and it was fun. And that was my first taste of being on stage. And I was like, why am I a singer? And he goes, well, you're like kind of popular and you seem like a lead singer type of guy. And I was like, okay. And we did Rock and Roll by Zeppelin and Feels Like the First Time by Foreigner, which is a weird choice, but I guess they were popular at the time. I love Lou Gramm. He's an incredible singer. And he was incredible. Fun to sing when I was like 15 or 14. It'd be hard to sing now, let alone then. So
yeah, he's a great singer as a young Lou Gramm. Was a great singer, man.
Awesome. It comes from that Paul Rogers school of singing.
Sure.
Still a killer singer, and a huge fan of him still. So and Plant, of course, but so I did that, and then that kind of ended, and then that Royal Decree came out of that, and that was with Gonzo and Phil. So it was me, Joey, and Gonzo and Phil, because Joey was in Rhapsody too, and then we started playing backyard parties and a couple more talent shows, and we started getting pretty popular in El Sereno, and then that kind of fizzled out, and then Armored Saint. Actually, when we transferred schools, that's when we met Dave, and it was Gonzo and Phil and Dave that actually got that together first, and they were playing in Gonzo and Phil's garage, as every band does, of course, right? And Dave's garage. And then they're like, well, John has a PA, why don't we get John? And I was like, okay. And then I came, and then Armored Saint was started. We had another bass player, but eventually it was the missing link was Joey, because he was our friend, but he was in another band at the time, Greg Leon Invasion, which was Greg Leon and Tommy Lee, actually, Motley Crue.
Oh, wow.
He was in that.
Did not know that.
And eventually we kind of pried Joe. Then Tommy left to go join Motley Crue, and another drummer came in. But it was a 3-piece band that he was in, and we basically said, dude, Joey, you got to be here with us. Come on, dude. And it was funny. I just saw Greg Leon recently at the Ronnie James Dio Cancer Fund, and we were joking about it because we told Joey to come jam with us at this storage unit place that we had a rehearsal, and we were all stoned playing and going, dude, listen to it. You got to join. And then all of a sudden we got a knock on the door because Greg Leon rehearsed there too. And so he's like, is Joey here? And we opened the door. I'm like, and we were so busted. And Joey had to go out and talk to Greg and go, well, I might join these guys. They're my neighborhood friends. It was awkward, but I saw Greg recently, and we were joking and laughing about it all these years later. And
it all works out for the best.
it was just fate. Of course, he
of course
was there when Armored Saint first got together, and I love this as like a New York dude. This is such like an LA shot. You know what I mean? This is like
at the Suicide Bridge, which a lot of people jumped off that bridge and died. Although it's crazy because it's not very high, so a lot of people could have jumped off and just maimed themselves and not even die. Like if you're gonna jump off a building, it should be the Empire State Building, man. You want to die.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you're gonna die. Not that bridge, which is like probably 200 feet up.
Like if you were like a New York band, you'd be in front of like some bombed out building in the Lower East Side. But a Pasadena band, hey, let's just go to the bridge, Yeah,
it was a cool area. We used to go and take acid and just kind of roam this area because it was like an arroyo, and it connected to like a golf course, and it was a really cool area, and we had a lot of fun there. And there was a place that we called Acid Mountain, and we'd go sit on it and talk about music and with a lot of friends. And, it's how we just kind of, like I said, we had our band, but we also had a lot of friends that were an extension of that, friends of mine that are still close friends of mine. So,
no, that's, excuse me. No, that's not the bridge Anthony Kiedis sang about. That I think that's like in downtown LA. I think that's in downtown. I don't different bridge that people used to do drugs under.
I'm sure, and he probably did too.
Yeah. Was it when Armored Saint first got together, like in this era? Was there like a mission statement or anything like that?
Well, I mean, I think that the cool thing about Saint now to this point in connection is, other than Dave, and I'm just going to put my thumb over Dave's head because he's not in the band, but the other guys are still in the band. And we have Jeff Duncan, who was in the band Odin, and he joined Armored Saint in like 1988. So, and he's the new guy, and he's been almost like 35 other years it is. So it's the same dudes, and that's the beauty of Armored Saint. It really is the same guys. And back then, I think the objective was to just like do what all our peers are doing. Rat, Great White, Wasp, all these bands, Black and Blue, you name it. They were all playing the club circuit in LA and Troubadour and the Roxy Country Club, and just getting popular and trying to get a record deal. And most of had an indie deal that eventually led to a major deal. We did that with Metal Blade, and that's it. Our goal was to just get as popular as quickly as we could. We made the joke that we would get signed to a major deal under 50 gigs, and I think we accomplished that. And we got popular really quick. And at one point, arguably, we were the biggest band in LA for sure. Yeah. That's because Wasp and Rat and Motley Crue and all those bands were ahead of us, and they already moved on. But
right. And John says, "Man, that OG Armored Saint 3-song EP was a game changer for a young rocker kid from LA in the early '80s." Thank you, John.
Yeah, it was a great album. We were lucky. Brian Slagle, who was we're back with Metal Blade and have for years, and Brian, basically, I always say there would be no there would be no Saint without Brian. It's as simple as that. He's always been supportive of us, even when we were on Chrysalis. He was still a big fan and supporter of us. So, and he came back and rescued us years later, and we've been on Metal Blade ever since. And now Metal Blade has they've basically licensed the first 3 records from Chrysalis, so they have all the product.
That's cool.
But yeah, he was there. He came to see us at the Troubadour in like 1982. And I think that we played on Christmas Eve, which is a very weird day to play, but we played and he was there. And we're like, is that Brian Slagle? Is that what he looks like? And he was all, he was bald back then. And he had all his leathers and spikes on. And we're like, that's the guy. And we met him. And he's like, I want to do something. We're going to do something. And I was like, all right, let's do it.
That's awesome.
Got the ball rolling.
Yeah. Any memories of sort of the first foray into the recording studio doing this?
Of course. So we went in and we went to Track Records, which is on Melrose, and the original Track Records, and we went in there, and we were running late because we were trying to score some hashish.
Oh no!
Yeah, and we were also we got some those Curran keg beers that were
I remember those. Yeah,
we got those, and we bought that, but we were waiting to get the hash, and then we eventually were able to go and begin recording, which is ridiculous. That's what we were doing and taking so long to do it. But we went into Track Record, and we ended up doing the 5 songs that were eventually our demo tape. And the guy who produced it was an engineer, was Bill Matoyer, and Bill still works with Armored Saint. He actually engineered all the guitar parts for the new record that we just did. And, he's been there forever with us for 3 years. Bill's went on to do many, many different bands, and we love him. He's a hilarious guy. And he was like going, you guys are late. And we're like, I know, hang on. We're almost ready. We're just trying to get some beer. And he's like, what? He's like, you're booked the studio time. Get over here. So I think we just recorded it overnight because we were getting a deal. And so we did it all live, and it was very raw and very, very cool. And that became our first demo tape, and then eventually the EP as well. So, and then we were eventually, I can't recall when we did it, but then we met Ron Fair, who's the guy who signed us to Chrysalis, and Ron was in the studio doing something else with another band, and we started talking to him, and he's like, we had all this bravado. We were, just punk kids, and we had a lot of attitude, and we're talking to him, and he's like, well, yeah, it's cool. He goes, I might sign this band Steeler. I was looking at them, and we were like, screw them. They suck. We're way better than them. Steeler, I think Yngwie was in Steeler by that point.
Yeah, that's right. I think so. Yeah.
We had a lot of balls to say that to this guy. He was like almost taken aback, going, what? Like, who are you guys?
Dude, we crushed them.
I mean, we had a lot of balls. I mean, we went on to do some shows at Steeler, and no disrespect to Ron Keel and Ingve. I mean, we just were young kids and had a lot of attitude. But it was funny but Ron went on to end up signing us to Chrysalis. So I guess we made a little bit of an impact with him. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Lori, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You were saying something. You had something.
These pictures.
Oh my gosh, these outfits. Yeah. So when you first started out, conceptually, do you think that with these outfits, with this I guess medieval type look here, were you maybe going in that direction first, and then you just zagged the other way?
Well, what we did is we kind of looked like anybody else from LA, spandex and leather and whatever. And eventually we said, you know what, we got this name of this band. Why don't we utilize it to kind of help maybe expand on our look a little bit? So we were big fans of the Road Warrior movie. We loved, a huge fan of Mad Max and stuff like that. And, we also were into, Alice Cooper and Kiss and all the bands that also had big images. So we said, let's combine this and see if we could kind of expand on it just a little bit. And so we started doing some cool things. Like we bought some stuff at a place called Western Costume, which was the breastplate I wear was in the movie The Beastmaster. So
nice.
They sold it to us for like, $100 maybe. Joey built some stuff out, some telephone poles that he ripped off, like the reflectives.
Yeah. The breastplate was like the
breastplate. We used some shin guards that were something from that soccer players wore. We just kind of created this outfit, and we're like, let's just try to make it seem like we're a little more than just all the other bands. And trust me, I love our image from back in the day. I look at it, I laugh, I have a little sense of humor about it all. But eventually it did become a slight albatross around her neck because then you had the thrash metal movement that started happening. And Metallica was just wearing jeans and t-shirts, and we were like, and putting this stuff on, and we wore this, and we'd be touring in the winter, and we'd have to take this stuff off, and after sweating at a show, and try to like dry it out in Buffalo, New York, and in January, and it just would never dry, and we'd have to put it on the next day, and it was wet and cold. And I was making a joke that like for one whole tour, I think my ass was literally blue because the leather wouldn't come off, like no matter how much I would shower. And I was like, I got home and my ass was blue, and I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, probably being poisoned, but just toxic.
It didn't travel well. No.
So I mean, eventually we're like, a couple of years later, we were like, we got to lose this, man, because it's just a pain in the ass. But don't get me wrong, I'm not embarrassed by it. I look,
no, of course not.
I'm cool with it, and I laugh, and that's what we looked like back then.
Yeah.
We love the Road Warrior.
Yeah, I think it would be great to see you guys just, once. What would it take to get you in it again?
Well, I did. We did it one year. We did it for the Metal Blade 30th anniversary party. We
That's
came
cool.
out. We all still have some stuff. Even Jeff made something. Joey and I, obviously, we have no hair, so we went into Hollywood Toys and Costume, and we bought wigs that actually looked like our hair back in the day, and it really did. If you could find pictures of it or a video, and we went on. And, we opened the curtain at was House of Blues in LA, which is no longer there, which sucks. And then we came on, and people were just like jaws agape going, what the? We all wore stuff. And people were tripping out. We played the first song. And then afterwards, I took the wig off, and then people started booing. Boo. I'm like, I'm not wearing this the whole show.
No.
Yeah.
But, it was a really cool moment. And I don't know. We've actually gotten some offers from, of course, places in Germany. Like,
of course, Germany or Romania or Hungary or like or Poland or like, yo.
Yeah. They're like, would you
come? Be a good charity event, right?
I mean, look, would I entertain it? Yeah. Just because
Hell yeah.
I'm only mainly because I'm not above it. It would be fun and funny and entertaining. I mean, I don't want to pretend that this is going to be the look of the band, but for shits and giggles, sure, why not?
Yeah. So
once.
Yeah, right. So you mentioned Chrysalis, and it seemed like you said, pretty swiftly out of the gate, you ended up on Chrysalis. That must have been kind of exciting for some young people.
It was, everybody was getting a record deal from major labels, all our peers, and we wanted one too. Even though Metal Blade they were the first ones to sign us, and then it was the stepping stone to getting a major deal, which Brian, I'm sure understood, and he had no problems with. But it was cool. We were stoked to be with Chrysalis. We had a lot of bands that we really loved. UFO, one of my favorite bands to this day. Robin Trower was on. Jethro Tull.
Jethro Tull
pretty much started Chrysalis. Ian Anderson, guys. And it was red hot at the time. They had Huey Lewis, Billy Idol, Pat Benatar.
That's right.
And those bands were all killing it. So the only thing is, and they went on to sign Slaughter, I think a couple years after us. But the only thing about Chrysalis is that they weren't really, you would think they would be better with the hard rock genre world, but they weren't. And so even though they had UFO, which is one of the best hard rock bands of all time, in my opinion, but they weren't quite aware. And so we actually got a record deal first. Then we signed to Q Prime Management, which is one of the still to this day, one of the biggest management companies.
That was with Ron Lafitte.
Well, no, that was before. Ron was our tour manager. Q Prime's Cliff Bernstein, Peter Mange. They had Leopard, Tesla, Queens. I don't know who they manage now. I mean, they've had Madonna, the Peppers. I think they have System of a Down. I don't know. They still are a huge company. Metallica. We actually signed to them before Metallica, which is fun.
Wow.
But we met Cliff Bernstein, and we had the first meeting with them after getting about ready to sign a deal, and he's like, we're so proud that we got this record deal ourselves. And he goes, you signed with Chrysalis? And we're like, yeah. And he goes, I hate Chrysalis. They're terrible. And we're like, what? Well, we just signed a record deal. So that's not good. Can we make the most? It was just not a good way to go in. So, and I don't think it actually ever really rectified. It was never a good situation between our management and the label. It just never was.
Yeah.
So,
and you did like the first 3 records with Chrysalis?
We did the first 2 records, and then ironically enough, Ron Fair, the guy who signed us, like pushed them to pick up an option for the 3rd album, which is actually quite shocking because we just didn't sell that many records, and we actually were very in the hole because March of the Saint costed like $350,000 or something.
What?
Which is ridiculous. It's absurd, right? But that's what bands were doing in the early mid 80s. That's what they were spending on albums. So it wasn't that unusual for a band to do that. For us,
Lori, what do you got?
I got the $350,000 product here.
I mean, look, here's the deal. It wasn't that unusual to do that. However, that's cool that we actually signed it to you, Lori. You have Dave's signature on that? Is Dave's signature on it?
Yeah, this was at the in-store at Agents.
That's amazing. Yeah, but the thing was that, and I love March of the Saint, don't get me wrong, it's a classic record for us, but it just was, it was too polished, and it just wasn't a great representation of Armored Saint because really we were a gritty club garage band. I mean, that's what I tell people we still are, in my opinion. And so it just wasn't an example of what you would see live from us. And it just was too polished. And I mean, people love it and the songs are great, but at the end of the day, it should have been way cheaper and it should have been way grittier. But what are you going to do? Youth,
what they say, it's a shame youth is spent on the youth.
Yeah. Also the video on MTV. Can You Deliver was, very popular on MTV.
Can You Deliver was big.
Yeah, and that's when I discovered Armored Saint. So yeah.
No,
hey, Lori,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, Lori. You held that record up. This was from the in-store of the store you worked in, right?
Yes, that was the in-store from. I think that one was the second in-store that we did with them. The first one was for Delirious Nomad.
Yeah, that's Reason Fear because there's the back of it. There's the cover. So it was obviously on that album.
I got the Delirious Nomad one here. And this one was
Dave with the DOA shirt. That's pretty. He was being pretty hardcore back in the day, even though he was a metalhead.
Yeah, I have to say, when he walked in with that shirt, I was all excited because I was listening to that as well. So, yeah,
it's pretty funny.
Yeah, but
here's another.
The 2 in-stores that we did.
Yeah, thanks for doing those in-stores. They were always great.
Yeah, well, these in-stores were great, and this was like a great way to promote, records back then. And I think, probably hit a bunch of them. But yeah, that's a great photo.
Yeah,
Look what's going on with all that like promo material that's like stuffed in the corner. I see that. That's a Judas Priest up in the corner there. It's like
Lee Aaron.
Yeah, I see that.
Lee Aaron, yeah.
Cool shit.
And the cool thing is there was Sundance. That was a rad venue in Long Island.
Yep.
So I'm sure we played there on that album.
Many times, yes, yeah. And I saw you many times there. So
I remember we played there one time, and a guy started his motorcycle in the club. All of a sudden,
hold on. Hold the presses, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. 1987, Sundance stub. Wait, that Steven sent to me.
Yep.
Right, Steven?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I gotta dig the pictures up too.
Yeah, there it is. The old Frank Cariola Sundance presents Grim Reaper, Armored Saint, and Halloween.
That was the Hell on Wheels show. Yeah.
Awesome.
That was to promote this one, right?
It was promoting Raising Fear. Yeah, that's a great. $15. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was great.
It was a great show, and it was fun to play with those guys and those bands.
And the in-store that we had for you guys, we had all 3 bands set up in the store, and it was a small store, so we had you set up 3 tables in the back. We had all 3 bands there signing records. Yeah.
And that was a big tour, Hell on Wheels tour. I mean, it was actually a pretty popular tour. We ended up doing the live performance from Minneapolis on First Avenue, which was great. That's a great shot. Look at that.
And there's John Bush and Lori Dawn. What in 1987?
Wow.
Yeah,
that's got to be 1987.
I was 2 years old in that photo.
Yeah, right.
Let me tell you, you're both winning with that hair, man.
I know, God. So
that 80s hair.
Well,
awesome.
Ruined the ozone with that.
That's awesome.
Yep. Awesome stuff. Steven, you just real quick. Frank Cariola's Sundance, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was the Long Island spot, right?
That is correct, for sure.
Yeah.
What city?
There was a few back then, but that was
what city in Long Island was it?
Bayshore.
Oh, Bayshore.
Bayshore.
Yep.
Yeah. That's where the ferry to Fire Island is, in Bayshore.
Okay. Cool.
And there was a hospital right next door, which was always very effective for people going over there after they got like smashed at Sundance.
Of course.
and look at the Sundance phone number: 516-666-2020.
Of course.
Yeah.
Now, I always wonder where was Lemore's at in Brooklyn? What area? Do you guys know what area that was in?
Oh, hell yeah.
What neighborhood was that?
That was Lemore's was in not Bay Ridge. It's funny because I have this stuff. Hold on, it's for a visual. I have this stuff lined up. What neighborhood was Lemore in, kids? Here, a little Lemore's right there.
Megadeth, Possessed, Ace Frehley. That's
Cities.
Awesome. Cities, yeah, that's cool. Nazareth. What a great.
Yeah.
Would it be cool to go to all those shows?
Yo, any one of those. Cities were. I saw Cities. They were great.
Yeah, I remember that band. That's cool.
Yeah. So, speaking of which, any and here's another one which sort of, I think this is kind of achieved legendary status. But any Lemore memories for Armored Saint for you guys?
Well, yeah, I mean, that show in particular, that's the one that people still talk about. We played 3 nights there, which is crazy. And it was awesome. They were just great shows. The third one was all ages. The first 2 were 21 and over. Every show was packed, sold out. It was crazy. It was just a lot of fun. It was such a great tour. And, we did the whole U.S. Wasp dropped off in Texas, which is kind of weird. I don't remember why. And we also Metallica.
Because he was blind in Texas.
Right. And then we just toured with Wasp the last couple album tours, actually. And it's been great. Blackie and the guys treated us awesome. And we had 2 great shows and Hammersmith Ballroom. But, we always talk about that and that tour. And a lot of people are like, I was there. Like it's a badge of honor to say you were at that show.
Absolutely, yeah.
I was there.
You know, those I had breakfast this morning with Roger Moret from Agnostic Front, and we were talking about the early Agnostic Front days. And I was around then, and we were laughing about how it's sort of like what's his name's perfect Don Larson's Perfect Game that Yogi Berra used to say. Through the years, he's met 1 million people that have said, I was there. And me and Roger were talking this morning about the early AF shows with John Watts is singing, and how many people say, I was there. Meanwhile, I was there, and there was like 15 people in the room. So it's interesting, through the swirling sands of time, it's like, I was there. It's like, okay.
Right.
No, not at that one. So, but Delirious Nomad is coming up on, it's 40 years next year, right?
40 years this year, yeah. Only for a couple more weeks, then we move on to beyond 40 years. But yeah, it's really cool. I mean, it's just crazy to think of. Yeah, I'm really proud of. I'm always, honored that. Well, number one, I'm just happy that I'm still doing it. And that's, to me, is, I try to be real humble about everything and just say, hey, we're lucky that we still are making records and we're still touring, and some people still care. I mean, we just made a new record. It comes out in May, and it's killer. And we're gonna go out and play. And it just, the simple fact that we're still a band, and some people, are still moved by it, to me, I'm honored and all that stuff.
No, it's an incredible record, and it has like a lot of really good, memories for me. I still got my tour shirt from that.
Oh, look at that.
Good condition. You took care of that.
Yeah, I was gonna wear it.
Bowls.
I was gonna wear it, but the arms are a little,
they're a little small now.
Now that you're buff.
That's right. Sure.
Hey, Steven, I'll see you in a bit.
Yep.
All right. Hey, John, I think I'd be amiss. Friend and neighbor and former A&R exec Howie Abrams asks, is it true Metallica asked John to be their singer? I can answer this for you if you're tired of answering it. But in my notes, I have I basically. But this is kind of the same time as the first record, playing with them at Lemoore. So I think I'd be amiss to sort of not. I know this is sort of a path that's been just keep it simple. But your take on that these days?
Johnny Z would call me before they actually really decided to. Before they recorded "Kill 'Em All," actually, it's one of the first time they came to me and said, the band wants you to join, and are you interested? And what I always tell people is at that time, Armored Saint was really elevating, and at that point, Armored Saint and myself, we were still like 10 years in as a friendship then, let alone like 50 that we are now, which is insane. But we were doing great, and I was like, yeah, they're a cool band, but like I like my band. I'm happy here, so I was like, I'm gonna pass. So. And of course, as I always say, of course I was honored, and the bottom line, I think heavy metal owes me a thank you for never doing that, because imagine a world without James Hetfield as a lead vocalist and the front man of the biggest band of all time in metal. So it was fate. It was not my fate to be in Metallica. Always honored. I'll answer that question until I'm in the grave, and then my kids are going to have to answer it. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, what an idiot,
No.
Nah.
You know what? I believe in the butterfly effect. You know what I'm saying? So, you don't know what would have happened,
I mean, I might have ruined metal. Like, that's a lot of pressure. I don't want to.
Right.
Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like, even with Dave Mustaine, it's like he got Megadeth, He got
Megadeth, and he would never have been a lead singer in Metallica.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. You got so many things. It's the butterfly effect. You don't know what would have happened. You don't know if you would have been happy.
And James, I always give so much props to, because I guess he was unsure about his vocals, but through the years, what an incredible vocalist he became, and just an awesome singer. And he's a legendary frontman. He's incredible. So it's just that was not my destiny, but I am always honored. And I did do the one song with them at the 30th anniversary of the Metallica show at the Fillmore. When four nights different bands played, and I ended up going and singing the Four Horsemen with them, which was one of my special memories in life. And so that was the day to say, okay, this is what it would have sounded like if he joined Metallica, which was really cool.
It's like that Star Trek episode where, like, if you go back into the past and you change one thing, then it forever changes the present, and we wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Yeah.
So we're good.
I don't need that pressure.
Yeah, who needs that, man?
Yeah, so many things.
Who needs that? But yeah, this is a legendary this L'Amour Metallica Wasp Bar. This is the stuff of legend. So
yeah, it was a great tour, and it was a lot of fun. And all bands were red hot at that point. I mean, it was hard for a while. Metallica and Wasp were like switching off who would headline, and then eventually I think Wasp said, you know, I don't think we want to follow that band, you know. So then eventually they became the metal band, and Metallica closed the set. But kind of hard to follow Metallica, let's face it. But yeah, it was a great tour, and we were still talking about it. And Blackie had this idea of trying to get, when we were doing the Metallica, the Wasp Armor Saint tours that we just did recently, he was trying to get them, he was reaching out. I don't know if he ever did, but he talked about reaching out to the Metallica guys to see if they would come out to like one show and like play a song and just kind of relive that tour. I guess it never happened, but you know, we still have the memories. And like I said, a lot of people use that as a badge of honor. Like, I saw you in Cedar Rapids, or I saw you in Montreal. So.
Yeah. Just sort of moving it down the line, because we want to kind of get to the present at some point. Sure. But so I'm doing a big skip here, but really in the first era of Armored Saint, things kind of wind down with Symbol of Salvation. Could you give us some perspective on this record and you guys sort of taking a break at that point?
Well, that's when we shortly before, well, in like 1988, that's when we found out that Dave actually was diagnosed with leukemia. So Dave had an acne issue, and so he was, you know, he was trying to solve it. He's a young guy, he didn't like it, so he went and had like some blood tests because he was going to get this medication. Can't recall what it was now, but that he had to kind of take a test to take it because it was that powerful at that time. And there it came back that he had a really high white blood cell count. And he told me one day on a phone call, he's like, yeah, this is what's happening. And I was like, well, what does that mean? He goes, I might have leukemia. I'm like, what? No, you know, he's a healthy guy. And I was like,
I mean, you guys were so young.
We were young. He was like 24 at that time.
Wow.
And so and lo and behold, it was the case. And so, and Dave was an adopted kid, so he didn't have any siblings. So like the normal thing to do is to try to a bone marrow transplant. That would be the only thing that you could do to try to, eradicate it. And he was an adopted kid. He didn't have any siblings. He actually found his birth mom, and so he didn't have many options. And so over the next couple of years, he went to the City of Hope and he put it in for a donor, and they had to find the proper match to at least be a legitimate chance of working. And so in that time we're like, well, what are we going to do? We were dropped by Chrysalis. We were like found out the guitar player has cancer. What are we going to do here? And then so the thought process was, let's just go back into the music. Let's just write songs. And that's the one thing we could rely on. So we did. And that's why those songs are so special, because there was a lot of passion and emotion and uncertainty that went into all those tunes. And, that's why it's to this day, there's something more to that record than just being a regular heavy metal record. And Dave wrote the bulk of those tunes. And, there's just a lot of really awesome emotional tunes on it. So eventually he had an opportunity. He said, we have a match for you. Let's do it. We're going to go and see if we can do this. And he's like, all guns blazing. I'm doing it. I'm beating this thing. We're like, all right. And then he went to the hospital, and you kill the bone marrow in your body, and you put in this new bone marrow, and you hope it takes. It was probably very similar to people who had AIDS at the time. It's very like it's very risky, and it didn't work. It didn't take. And so like literally within about a 2 to 3 week period, he ended up just dying. And it was crazy to witness that for our best friend. And we would go to the hospital every other day, take turns and see him and just see his body, dwindle into nothing. It was brutal. It was a hard thing to witness. And
so sad for, like I said, you guys were so young. It's having been through similar things in my family. It's it's one thing when somebody's had a full life. They've led a full life. They've climbed many mountains. They've been on many stages, held many mics. It's so tragic when a young person passes away. It hurts, man.
And Dave was this crazy guy. He had flaming red hair. He was incredible guitar player, really, really creative. Just had a lot of soul for a white boy, and was just very, really inspiring person. He was funny as hell. He's, he had a great sense of humor. Lori she met him numerous times. He was just this zany guy, really artistic. It was great. He designed a lot of the flyers that we did in the early days, and just was a special guy. And so, his attitude the whole time was like, I'll beat it. I mean, believe me, there was times, it was the 80s and we were in LA. So a lot of extracurricular activities, to say the least, a lot of alcohol, a lot of drugs that we did. And I'd be partying with Dave, about ready to do a line of blow going, and he did it. He liked Coke. I'll be honest and say it. And like, dude, you should be doing this, should you? But that's the way he was. He just lived life to the fullest.
Yeah, exactly.
He went out with his boots on.
Yeah. He did, and he loved 151, Run 151. He was a party animal. And my attitude, in retrospect, was like, well, that's how he wanted to live. And I don't think it was a factor at all in his life. And he was sick, and that's what was up. But that's how he lived. So it was brutal to see him die, and it just created this kind of an uncertainty about what to do. But it was Joey and Gonzo, I'll give them credit, because I was about ready to tap out. But we did have all the songs. So the theory was, let's kind of regroup. Brian Sagal came in like the guardian angel, goes, I'll put the record out. You got to put this record out. And so we said, okay, let's regroup. Gonzo obviously wanted Phil because he left the band out and did the Delirious Nomad recording. He goes, I want my brother back. Jeff Duncan was in and out during that time, and he played with Dave. So I was like, well, let's get Jeff back. And you both these guitar players played with Dave at different times. We'll regroup and we'll make this record. And we did. And it was awesome.
It was an amazing record. It was just beautiful. I feel like it was finally when you guys kind of broke loose from, you were back on Metal Blade.
Yeah.
Writing of this record was incredible. Rain of Fire, Tribal Dance. What's another one of my favorites? Tainted Past is a great song.
Totally.
I loved this record, and seeing you guys come back after Dave had passed was just incredible. It was
awesome. We were back, but the only drawback in the typical Armored Saint fashion, and don't get me wrong, I'm not a woe is me guy at all, but sometimes we just had bad timing and some bad luck. It just kind of happened. Again, I'm not putting too much of an emphasis on that, because again, I'm very fortunate. I'm still doing it, but we did have some bad luck sometimes, and lo and behold, it was 91. So, it was the grunge movement in full force. Metal was
Nirvana, Pearl Jam, all those. Yeah.
Yep. So our timing wasn't good. That record came out probably like 1987. It would have been a way different scenario, but it was 91, and it just, so we went out and toured and we did our thing, but we just couldn't get any groundwork going on. So
a lot of sparks.
Yeah. And then, shortly after that is when I got the call from Anthrax. And at that point it was like, I got to do this, I have to do it. So,
hey, let's all take a sponsor break.
While I recall my heartbreak over that decision.
I did too. Believe me, I probably still live with some of the guilt about leaving the band. But again, if it would have been the wrong decision
Absolutely.
to not do that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, look who showed up! Our
Metallica. Like saying no to Anthrax, I would have to go bury my head in the sand.
Yeah.
Hey, before we take a break, our buddy drummer extraordinaire Chris Contos out in the Bay Area, Armored Saint is always killer. Had a great time seeing him last year in Manchester, UK at the Rebellion. Thanks for taking my nephew Zach out this year as the drum tech.
Oh yeah, Zach is a killer. He's awesome, really funny guy, killer drum tech, and yeah, he was real entertaining to have on the road, and he worked hard, and he's awesome. And those shows in Manchester are always killer. So thanks a lot, Chris. Appreciate that.
Hey, John, we'll see you in a couple minutes. Let me do the sponsor thing, and
Okay.
yeah, see you in a few.
Do your thing.
There you go. Chapter 1 in the books.
Right. Yeah.
Let's do a little sponsor thing, and we will continue. We're going to talk about Anthrax and Category 7 and so on and so forth. You are watching.
Continuation of Ahmed Saint that I was so happy about.
Here you go.
Yes.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Okay.
Since 1992, Generation Records has been a mainstay of the New York metropolitan area music scene. Today, they offer a diverse selection of new and used rock, jazz, indie, hip-hop, punk, hardcore, metal, blues, soundtrack, and reggae LPs, as well as t-shirts, posters, and other merchandise. They buy used record collections and music memorabilia and will pay you top dollar for them. House calls made for large collections in the tri-state area. Call or email generationrecords@gmail.com and follow them on Facebook and Instagram.
Will that be cash or in debt?
Do you mean debit?
Yes. Sorry. Another eternally satisfied customer.
Yo, what's happening? I'm out here at one of our all-ages Sunday matinees on the Bowery. I hope that you are enjoying today's show. I just want to let you know that the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live needs your support. Please step up. There is a Patreon page that has a lot of unique program. Shows are announced there first. Lots of good stuff. There's a PayPal address right there on the screen if you want to make a contribution. There's also a super chat function. You could do that, but the bottom line is this show exists because of your support. We're going to be doing it for a long, long time. Thank you for all your support through the years. Back to the show.
Conditioned by indoctrination, conditioned by society. You're a victim of the digital age, a 21st century casualty. Open your eyes, you're losing control. Open your eyes, put down the phone. Conditioned by misinformation, it's just the media telling us lies. Decipher fiction from the truth, society's slow and tragic demise. Open your eyes, you're losing control. Open your eyes, put down the phone. Everyone's got their fucking...
Come on now, here we go. The New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. I want to mention some upcoming shows. This Wednesday, Peter Bywaters of Peter and the Test Tube Babies coming up. Sunday, December 21st, co-hosted by Joel Gustin, John Gallagher from Raven, Candace from Walls of Jericho, along with Laurie Dawn. On Sunday, December 28th. Sunday, January 4th, Dave Ingram will be on with Joel. Geez, Laurie will be co-hosting Jennifer Finch from L7. Big Rob Castoria, Wednesday, January 21st. Howard Wolfing, musician and author, Wednesday, February 4th. Yo, what's up? Pepper Keenan. Corrosion has a new record coming out. We will have him on to talk about it. Yo, speaking of East LA, Steve Berlin from Los Lobos will be on Wednesday, February 18th. And yo, we just announced this the other day. One of our good friends, one of the good guys representing Boston, Massachusetts, Chris Wren, will be on the show. I just read his new book, Fenway Punk. It was great. Lots to talk about there. That's Sunday, February 22nd. Got to announce this one really soon. Steve Blush has a new book out, When Rock Met Hip Hop, will be on the show. And then, yo, check this one out. Bill Stevenson of the Descendants, all in Black Flag, celebrating 40 years of I Don't Want to Grow Up, the Descendants album, on Sunday, March 22nd. So clank your chains and count your change. Lots of great shows coming up. So don't be scared. Once again, our co-host, Ms. Mers Lori Dawn. Mers Lori Dawn. Yeah. Wow. Some good shows, huh?
Yeah, some very good shows coming up. It's exciting. Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
We are booked so far out now. Yeah, it's great.
Hey, if somebody wants to come on the show 15 years from now, get in touch with me.
Yes, exactly. We're ready to listen.
Yeah. So all that is
I
good.
consider it. So I'm just sitting here in my heartbreak still. I'm having like flashbacks.
Very sad story, man.
Yeah.
You know, when somebody young passes away.
Absolutely. I remember because I remember it, and it's you kind of like you don't even realize how much of a loss it is until you get older and you experience all these new things, and it's like it keeps rotating back. But I do have to say to people, there is a great Facebook page called the Dave Pritchard fan. I think it's the Dave Pritchard fan page. It's on Facebook. Look for it. You know, my friend Donna, right here from Cape Cod, helped found it, and she was a admin for a while. It went over to some other people, but they really do a great job in keeping his memory alive. It's really
Cool.
a beautiful thing that they're doing.
Right on. Let's bring our guest, Mr. John Bush, back on. Hey, man.
Yeah, and you know what I mean, for sure. You know, when you look back at Dave, just you could feel good about his life because
absolutely.
Somebody lived like it was only
Sure.
26 years, but man, he lived like he had 100. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
you can smile and treasure the memories, really.
Absolutely.
That's cool. Hey, you mentioned
Say one other thing. I'm sorry. Is that I'm for some reason having trouble signing in to chat with people. But thanks so much for all the rad comments. I am certainly reading them and looking at them and laughing because there's some really good ones and funny ones.
and by the way, the last part of the show, we take questions from around the world. So
We'll pop it up. Yeah.
So don't think I'm dissing you, people, just because I'm just not. I'm so not savvy when it comes to anything technical. So I just don't know what I'm doing to get on there. But thanks for all the rad comments.
Yeah, we'll drag a couple across. Hey, so tell us how you fell in with these guys.
Well, again, I think they were, I think they were ready for a departure in their style and their sound a little bit. So they sought me out, and I said, okay. I mean, after I had to give it a lot of thought because leaving Armored Saint was not easy because, like I said, we were just, it's like the mafia. You just you can't really leave, and you don't want to leave. And there's a very tight brotherhood bloodline connected to it all. But as I said, it would have been a mistake not to do that at that time for me. So I did. And after the key thing was, I think it was like, how are we going to work as far as writing together? Like, sure, I'm a seasoned guy at that point. I can go out and I can sing songs live, old material, whatever. But how is it going to be to create? And that was the most important thing because I wanted to, because Armored Saint, I was the main lyricist, of course, and still am. And so I didn't want to go in and just be kind of told, hey, read these songs and read these lyrics and sing these songs. I wanted to participate. So and they were like, yeah, we want you to. So we started, writing, and we wrote. I say to people, we wrote only in probably an hour. And
wow!
Obviously, the Charlie had the music to it, and Scott had a couple ideas for some parts, but it was and then I think I contributed something for the verse or whatever, and we had the chorus idea, and we were we rehearsed it, and it was wow, that's awesome! Listen to that song, and it really did sound very forward for not only Anthrax but for metal. It really felt like we're moving. It just felt futuristic to me, and And so, you know, that was the beginning. And once we had that song, it was like, okay, we got momentum, and then we wrote all the rest of them. And
must have been an exciting time. Didn't Dave Jordan produce this record?
Yeah, Dave Jordan did produce it. So I ended up doing back-to-back records with Dave, which was pretty funny. It was both at El Dorado Studios, which is right across the street from where my wife and I have a casting studio. Literally, I see it every day.
Is it still there?
It's still there. I don't know. I'm assuming it's a recording studio. I've gone and I pushed the button and tried to see if somebody will come out, because I just want to go, hey, man, I made 2 records here. But no one comes. They probably think I'm some like homeless guy knocking on the door. But yeah, I see it every day, and it's a classic. It was a great studio. It was Marvin Gaye's studio back in the day.
That's right.
I mean,
I was in there with Dave Jordan when I was in the Biohazard camp. Biohazard did a record there. Dave producing and
the Offspring.
That's right. That's right.
Alice in Chains, Dirt, the first Alice in Chains record.
Hell yeah.
Nothing Shocking. It was recorded there. So from Chains Addiction. So I mean, there was a lot of cool records there, and you know, it was awesome to
and
I was back to back, which was weird, but with 2 different bands, so it was a trip.
Right on. You know, and I have to say, like, this was a fantastic record, and there is the contingent of people, like Pat Baldwin says, the Sound of White Noise is the best thing Anthrax ever did. Now, no, I'm friends with Scotty. No knock to Charlie and those guys at all, or, you know, Anthrax, love the band, but you know, you do have people that feel like the John Bush era was really something special, and this record was great. This record went gold, and this record's solid all the way through, man. So it was just a great jump off.
This record got me over my heartbreak.
Well, it was
Definitely,
because it was a great album, and to this day, a lot of people still talk about that record. And you know, again, maybe even a little ahead of its time, a little bit, and you know, but it has some great tunes on it, and you know, it was my only gold record to my life, so I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, I think that it was a beautiful coming together of what you had to bring to their sound and what they were looking for. So that's what I think I liked the most about it. It was just like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, you know, it wasn't easy replacing Joey Belladonna. He's a great singer. He has a very unique voice. He's you know, very associated with the sound of Anthrax. But once I was in, I was like, okay, well, I got to, you know, I'm giving my all. And the band was very supportive of me. So, you know, it was just, let's go. And you know, it definitely changed the sound. I know how it is. I say this every day when I talk about, you know, joining Anthrax and different singers, and it's hard. You know, it was hard for me when I love Ronnie James Dio, but he sounded different than Ozzy, and same thing with, you know, Hagar, and, you know, even Brian Johnson, you know, similar sounded Bond, but it wasn't Bond. And you know, it's hard when a singer changes a sound of a band. And, but you know, I think it was the right time for the 90s. That's for sure.
Well put.
It was. And, you know, listen, they were evolving musically. I think that they were maturing a lot musically. And I think that it really came together so beautifully on this record, you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of bands were going through like transitions. Music was going through a change, and that's a good thing, you know. It's like you don't want to hear the same thing. If we were listening to the same thing over and over again, we'd all still be listening to big band music, you know. Like
exactly. Which I love big band music, by the way.
So do I.
But,
I'd still be listening to the Grateful Dead. Oh, I still am only listening to the Grateful Dead.
Yeah. I mean, artists, it was the 80s. You know, I love the 80s. Don't get me wrong. That's when that's when I started. But the 90s were awesome. There was amazing bands, and I totally embraced it. And in terms of just what some of those bands contributed to rock and roll. You know, Soundgarden is one of the best heavy metal, one of the best rock bands of all time, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And I was heavy into, like, I loved that whole industrial sound that came ripping through the 90s. I love that.
Nails and Ministry.
Yeah, Ministry. You know.
Let me ask you, John. Like, in that era, as a musician who sort of made his bones in a certain genre of music, was it a scary time? Was it for you as an artist?
Well, I always say it was a lot easier for me because for me, when I joined from Armored Saint to Anthrax, I took a step in fame. It's just the reality. Anthrax was much bigger band than Armored Saint ever was. So for the guys, sometimes they had more struggles with it because it was a decline. It was for a lot of bands in the 90s, not just Anthrax, a lot of bands. So when there would be times like, man, we played that venue last album, and then we're playing this venue, and I was like, last time I was here, I played that venue. So this venue is awesome. So I mean, for me, it was easier. Sometimes it was a little bit of a struggle for those guys, but it's just the way it was. You know, we're going on the road to Europe for 6 weeks. You know, some of those guys would grumble. I was like, awesome. You know, I was single. I didn't have anything to do. I was like, I've never been to Europe for 2 months. Let's go. So same like on that record in particular, we toured like for like 2 months in Europe, I think. And
fantastic. I love this record too. I loved how
happy about it. They were like, you know, but I was stoked. So again, it just was different mentality because of where they came from, country to where I came from. But to me, it was all easy to swallow.
Yeah. You know, and you guys put in some work in those first couple years. Sound of White Noise, Stomp 422. I think, didn't the Butcher Brothers were involved in this record?
Yes, they were. They produced it. Which they were on, you know, coming out with, you know, did Fugees and Cypress Hill, and so they were hot, but they weren't necessarily hot in the rock world. But we, you know, we're like, let's work with these guys. They were great. We did the album in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. It was just like going to like Mayberry every day. It was funny because we stayed in Philly in the city, but then we would do the commute out to Conshohocken, which was very suburban. But it was great. We had a lot of fun making that record, and those guys were great. And it, you know, it's a great record. It was a transition again for Anthrax and in the business world because we were on Elektra, and Elektra was going through major upheaval. They were firing a lot of people on their staff, including our A&R guy, Steve Rabowski, who signed the band, and Bob Krasnow. He was like, oh, Bob Krasnow created Elektra.
Kraz.
right.
You know,
Kraz.
so so it's like, okay, this is a little scary because they brought in some people that really just weren't connected to us at all. And it was kind of the beginning of the end for us.
And you had a sleeve as well, right?
Pardon?
You had a guitarist changeover as well.
And also Danny Spitz left during the recording of that. And, you know, we never really officially replaced him. And Paul Crook came out and did some touring with us and played on a couple of those records after that. So, you know, Stomp and Volume 8, the record that followed that. But at the end of the day, you know, we never really went back to being a 5-piece until We've Come For You All, which is the 2 records later.
Right.
After this album. But you know, it was kind of a weird time to you know, again, changes were happening in the business, certainly in you know, the world of rock and roll and heavy metal, let alone for the business part of it, for Anthrax being on Elektra, and then we got let go, and then we joined this small little label called Ignition Records, which was kind of an upstart. And we thought it would be cool to be on an indie label because we're like, let's do it. And we put out this album, but they folded literally like a month and a half into this record.
Oh, man.
So we're like, okay, great. So we still went out and toured and did what we did, but we were almost doing it on our own and the brand name of the band. And
I remember this. I remember this time. It was sort of this series of events like Elektra signs Anthrax, you know, for a big deal. And then there's big changes at Elektra. Yeah. Like you said, your A&R guy leaves. And that's always, you know, not a good look when your A&R guy leaves and things at the label. And soon after, Anthrax is off the label and they're on like Tommy Boy, Ignition. Like, huh? Yeah, right. You know,
on paper, it was a good idea, but it just didn't. It didn't happen. So you know, again, it was 1998, so it was very into the 90s, almost to the zeros at that point, and just a lot of changes. But you know, I'm not whining. I never want to whine about things that happen.
No, you're not coming across that way, brother.
Yeah, it's just it just was the way it was. But you know, it's still a killer record. There's some great tunes on that album, Inside Out, Catharsis, Crush, you know, some powerful stuff. And we went out and toured, and we had some great shows.
Yeah, I love that. I love that song Inside Out. I feel like the whole range of your voice is in that one song.
Yeah.
You know, like if anybody wants to know, what does John Bush sound like? Well, I mean, he's got like some, you know, bluesy, gritty sort of, you know,
Thanks, Lori.
soft but crunchy, and it all came out in that one song.
Yeah, it was always a great song live, always really powerful. We made a really cool video with it, which was kind of a play on the Twilight Zone William Shatner episode, and we were on the airplane, and they put these like crazy. I never wore glasses, and well, I do now and have for years, but I never wore contacts. And they put these hard contact lenses in my eyes to make it look funky.
Right.
And then they were spraying us with these giant like fire hoses. And by the end of that video, there's a scene where I look up and I can barely open my eyes because I couldn't see. And my eyes were backed up for days after that. But you know, I did it for metal, but it was.
But it looked really cool.
Yeah, it did. So it's pretty
6 with 9 Dark. Did Cup of Joe ever get sung live?
Oh yeah, we did that song live. It was fun. Yeah, Scott did it. He sang it, and we had that and 604, which is another short, like 30-second, 40-second song. And yeah, that record was very diverse. We also had Dimebag playing a couple leads on it, which he did
Right.
Prior to that, which was Stomp, and then he also played a couple leads on We've Come Free Wall as well. So he became kind of a like extended lead guitar player at that point, which is really cool.
And then didn't Caggiano come into the band a while after that?
Caggiano came in on We've Come Free Wall. So that's when we
Right.
finally go, okay, we're going to, you know, like really fill this position properly. And then we were back to being a 5-piece band. And, you know, Crook did a lot of great stuff with us. I love Paul. He's a great dude. And he toured with us on both the previous records. And he never was really an established member of the band, but he did play a ton of shows and did some killer leads on both those previous records. And then Rob came in and really kind of filled the spot officially.
And around this time, didn't you kind of do a little bit of a Symbol of Salvation kind of tour with Armored Saint?
Well, we in between, what happened is Scott and Charlie decided to make an SOD record. So they made the SOD record, the follow-up record to the first one. And because we were like, let's just take a break. We didn't have a deal. We're like, what are we going to do here? And then so that's what we did. And at that point, I said, okay. And me and Joey just started writing some tunes just for fun. And then we ended up making the record Revelation. And that came out like 2000. So that was around the same time as the SOD record. And hence, and you know, that was like a slight little hiccup in both Armored Saint and Anthrax's little career right there.
I was so happy when this came
You
out.
love that record. Lori loves that record.
It's a cool record. It's down and dirty. It's gritty. It was cool.
It.
Some really cool songs on it.
Love it. Really, really awesome. Because it was just so like, oh my gosh, they're back. You know, they came back. They said they would.
Yeah, we did, and we did some touring. It was, you know, pretty rough, and I mean, we played a lot of club shows, not probably very well attended, but we did do some stuff, and then, you know, the plan at that point was that I wasn't really leaving Anthrax, and I was just taking a break, and we were eventually going to make the record that we did, which was We've Come Free Wall.
And this was great. And, you know, this record Revelation was great, too, because, again, it was like one more step in like the evolution and breaking free of Armored Saint, because now not only were you on, you know, Metal Blade Records, but now Joey was starting to produce the albums.
Yeah, Joey, you know, I mean, when Dave died, Joey really just took ownership at that point of being the leader. I mean, somebody has to, right?
Yeah.
And he's just a natural leader. When in the early days with Saint, I mean, we kind of went through the same things that a lot of bands do. We were all 21, 22. It's a pissing contest for who's the leader. And, you know, I'm really just not a great leader, even though I'm the singer, but by proxy, I'm kind of pushed into that position, but I'm just not a good leader. I'm just really not. And then Joey's the bass player, and, you know, not to stereotype, but bass players, they're not naturally usually. Don't get me wrong. You got Lemmy, Phil Lynott, Paul McCartney, Steve Harris. You know,
but Joey was always an incredible bass player, and he is.
Bass player. But just you know, and to this day, Joey is still the leader of the band.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody contributes ideas and thoughts, but he's the leader. He produces records. He basically is our accountant. He's the manager, and he pretty much hates it most of the time, but he does it, and we need him to.
Right.
So he became the leader of that band at that point.
Yeah, I understand that.
I think that's a really important and good attitude to have, and in bands. I mean, when I
be a reluctant leader, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to be happy about having power.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say something that might be slightly controversial even to people that I play with. But if it was up to me at this point, I would not do a Democratic run band. I just don't think. I think for me and my experiences, it just it doesn't work so well. I think it's there should be a hierarchy. I think it's just better. Doesn't mean that anybody's role is less important. Let me emphasize that everybody's role is important. I always use I'm a huge sports fan, and I always use the association with sports of like, you don't have the Chicago Bulls winning 6 titles without, Horace Grant and, Dennis
Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman.
So it wasn't only Jordan, but roles are really important to be defined, I think, in bands. And I believe that sometimes the roles, when they become distorted and uncertain, that's when bands end up usually breaking up. Or somebody quits or gets kicked out. So that's just my personal opinion. Doesn't mean that anybody's less important. It just means that sometimes bands work a little better that way.
Absolutely.
It reminds me when I directed the Ilago film, right? And not to drag the Metallica guys into this, but I was interviewing James, and I don't know if this was on camera or and he said, thank God for Lars that he has an interest and a passion for the business end of things, because I don't.
Right.
And I thought that was really, I thought that was really realistic and humble and just mature. It's like, hey, I know what I do. I don't want anything to do that. And I'm grateful that there's a guy in my band that has a passion for that. And that's what he does. This is what I do. This is what that other guy does. And I thought that was pretty solid to recognize that, identify it, recognize it. And it's a big part of being a successful band.
It is. It's again, I'm not, let me just reemphasize, because who knows, I might have the guys in my own band going, what the hell, dude?
What the fuck?
The reality is
I saw you on Drew Stone's fucking show. What the fuck?
It's just about knowing the role. It doesn't mean anybody's role is less important. But let me tell you something. Nobody in Armored Saint can run the band like Joey does. Trust me. And no one wants to, because it's a pain in the ass. Right. So, but at the end of the day, that's just the way it is. I mean, we struggled in my years in Anthrax. That was a struggle sometimes too. It was. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just like, and now I'm in category 7 and it's 5 guys and they're probably going, hey, dude. And I don't want to be the leader. Again, sometimes you're just catapulted in that position because I'm the singer, and that's the way it is. I don't want to be the leader. Like, I don't want to deal with the money. I don't want to deal with any of that stuff,
Right.
It leaves you open to a lot of liability from the other guys, right? It's like you're dealing with the money, then people are going to bitch at you about the money.
It's just a tough role. It's a tough role to work, and it's just the way it is. But again, everyone's role. It's when those roles and they become kind of blurred. That's when I think see somebody quitting. You're like, why is this band breaking up, or why is that guy getting kicked out, or it's why it's. I mean. There's 2 reasons. Personality differences, obviously, is the biggest, and musical direction. You hear that all the time, right? We didn't, or a lot of the time it's just like, what, man, I just don't like you anymore.
Yeah.
That's the honest one.
Why? You want me to tell you why? Because I just don't like you anymore.
I mean, it's the truth. And I mean, look at Armored Saint, and I waved that flag for. Again. Duncan's the new guy, as we joke, and he joined in like 88. It's the same guy. Wow. So for better or worse, I say it's not like it's all strawberries and cream and wine and roses. We have a lot of discussions and disputes that always don't go so well, but we still are here. And when we get together, we know like there's a vibe there, and it's just kind of unbreakable. And truthfully, I can't imagine anyone else in this band, to be honest. So it's just the way it is. I mean, look at Anthrax, with me not excluded. I mean, you got pretty much the same guys that it's been for years. Obviously, John, the guitar players in there.
Yeah.
But it's really the 4 of the 5 main guys have been there.
Yeah.
All the time.
Speaking of which, could you give us some perspective on this great record, We Come For You All?
Well, that was a record that we kind of finally started getting our act together a little bit business-wise. We went with Nuclear Blast in Europe, and they were a metal record. They knew a metal label. They knew what they were doing. They were super stoked to have Anthrax, and they really kind of reestablished the band, especially in Europe. It was Sanctuary in the States, but and then that eventually kind of fell apart. But in Europe, it was Nuclear Blast, and we really kind of resurrected the band. And I think in Europe at that point. And it's a killer album, Eddie Wall and Rob produced it, and great sounds on it. What Doesn't Die was a killer video, and Save Home was a big video and song with Keanu Reeves in it. And there's just a lot of great tracks on it, and it's really powerful stuff.
Yeah, and that's right. Alex Ross painted the cover.
Alex Ross painted the cover, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Very very cool. So, I mean, is it safe to say like this and the couple things that came after sort of winds down your tenure in Anthrax?
Yeah, I eventually, I left officially after a South American tour we did in around March of 2005, and at that point there was talk about a reunion thing, and I was hearing it, and I was like, yeah, I mean, look, I don't know what that means for my life, but at the end of the day, I think we could all kind of feel like it was kind of leaning towards that route of bringing Joey back and doing something that just kind of felt like it was the right direction of the band at that time. I wasn't insulted. I wasn't hurt. I kind of felt like, yeah, man, I was in the band at that point for like almost 13 years, and we had accomplished a lot of stuff. And, it was weird because my daughter, my wife was pregnant and had my daughter. And so that was right around the same time that this was all going down. And I was like, I'll embrace, being a dad. I was kind of worried about my future for sure.
Sure.
And it was weird because my wife's a casting director, and we still run a casting studio, her and I, it's for her business primarily, of course. But and she had a person who worked with her for years, and that person said, I'm leaving. And it was almost simultaneously with me joining Anthrax. So we had just got married, we're having a baby, and we're like, oh no, what our careers are in big flux. But it was like, we were like, we'll get through it, we'll figure it out. And it just felt right. So
that's awesome.
Are you involved in the casting world at all?
I am. My wife's a casting director, mostly cast commercials. We have a little casting studio, and we work with another casting director who's awesome. And I actually work with her. That's my day job.
That's awesome.
I'm working tomorrow.
Hey, you know what? Fuck all this music shit. Let's talk about casting.
I mean,
I grew up in that world a little bit. So
okay. Awesome.
Yeah. My dad was a film director. So.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I mean, my wife casts a ton of commercials, and so is Shane, who's one of our best friends, and I work for her. She casts all the progressive spots, and it's my day job, and that's what we do. And believe me, there'll be people. It's not very often. It's mostly actors, but you'll have people come in and go, "Dude, are you John Bush?" And I'm like, yeah. And I go, what are you doing here? And I'm working. That's what I'm doing.
What are you doing here? Like they picture you on some big stage in Europe, right? On the what?
What's funny is I just actually started having social media recently. I resisted for a long, long time, and finally I caved in the last 6 months. And it, they certainly opened. And don't get me wrong, it's cool. It's been a lot of fun. And my wife and I, she do it together, and she's helped me tremendously. And it's been fun. But it did open the doors for a lot of people, and a lot of those people know me now, and they're like, "Dude, I had no idea about this career of yours." And I'm like, "Yeah, because I'm at work, and I'm just down, and I'm wearing my hat, and I'm just, I'm not walking around wearing my armor, going, hey, I'm working." So, but it's fun. It's our own little family business, and
that's awesome.
It's been a struggle actually after COVID for sure, and
a lot
of studios went under, but we keep going, and it's been fun.
And you've done voiceover stuff. I know you did a Burger King commercial. I mean, that's my dad always says, in the next life, I want to come back as a voiceover artist.
Yeah. I was the voice of Burger King for about three years. I did the tags for them. So I did probably like 300 to 400 commercials back in like, that was right around the time I left Anthrax too. So it was easy to also say, okay, I want to take a break because I'm doing this now.
Good for you.
Pretty good money.
Yeah.
Good for you.
It was sad when that ended, but yeah, it's cool. But I mean, I have a voiceover an audition I have to do later. It's just really competitive because all these big actors went, wait a minute, I could do this in my pajamas, never leave my house, and bank. And so they kind of squashed a lot of little guys. But
wait a second, I could do a video podcast from my apartment and never have to leave?
Yeah, I mean, what's just weird is that you have all these big time actors who are doing commercials now, and they never would do that. That was like the kiss of death, or I'm a movie actor. I would never do that.
Dude, if I hear John Hamm's voice in one more fucking voiceover, I'm going to throw myself out a window, man.
I mean, so like these guys finally said, hey, if you watch the Super Bowl, you're going to see, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a big famous person in that commercial. So, and they wouldn't do those before. They were like, no, I'm above that, but not anymore.
I mean, that's the ebb and flow, right? Of when TV first came around, a lot of the movie people wouldn't touch TV, that medium, and then so on and so forth. Radio people would never. So it's the ebb and flow. I just want to say, as the last, as we sort of move off the whole the Anthrax thing and move on to others, I just want to say that I really, really enjoyed you singing the old, like the Neil Turbin songs. I really enjoyed you singing, and I really love the updated sounding great versions on this record, which apparently is not on streaming. It's not on Spotify. I listened to it on, I don't think so. I listened to it on YouTube, but I really, really enjoyed you singing a lot of the older Anthrax stuff. I really enjoyed it.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, at that point, had been touring it for years with the band, and I played those songs live. And I always say, when I was in the band, I looked at those as like my foster children, because I sang "I Am the Law" and Indians, and Madhouse, and got the time numerous times live, so including Bring the Noise. But so I was like, I know these songs, so we had the idea of doing it and making it real raw and almost like one take in the studio, and it was cool. I mean,
that's what it felt like.
Pardon?
That's what it felt like. It felt like this stuff is fresh, one take, straight from the heart. It not overproduced, just nailing it. Nailing it. Yeah.
I mean, would I have done that if I knew a few months later I was leaving the band? Maybe not, but that doesn't matter. It's a moot point, of course, and I'm proud of it. I mean, of course, you associate Joey with those songs, and as he should be, with understandable. I just took them as like, I was the stepdad for a while. I had to take him to the to Coney Island.
That's
let's
cool.
Go. Come on, guys, round up. Let's
sure. Absolutely. So just as we move along the timeline, sort of rejoined Armored Saint and a couple of records there. People love La Raza. And you mentioned back on Metal Blade. I mean, Metal Blade's been your home ever since, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we owe everything to Brian and Tracy. I mean, Tracy even more so now, because she pretty much runs the label.
Oh, yeah.
Joey's wife, so we're pretty lucky to have that person as the president, part of our decision making, and just such a super big supporter of what we do. And it's awesome. I love those guys, and I love all the staff, and it's home for us. And that's just where we belong. And Punch in the Sky came out 6 years ago now, which is a long time ago, but it's there's nowhere else for us to be, and there's nowhere else I'd rather be. And we just gave them the new record, and we're like, tell us what you think, and everyone chimed in with their thoughts. And so now we're going to come up with a game plan, because the record's coming out next year, and it's great. The European staff and the American staff, and it's just great. It's home, and we owe a lot to Brian and Tracy. We really do. I always say without them, there just really is no band. We would be a band maybe, but we certainly would be really like on an island going, where's home?
They really put a lot into these. They really put a lot into the packaging of these.
Spectacular.
This is really great. I got the last one.
I will send you I just got a copy of the artwork. I would put it on, but I can't do that prematurely. But I want to. But
Punching the Sky is a great. I like.
Yeah,
it's a great sounding record, man.
Really cool. Yeah,
yeah, it's really good.
Jay Rustin produced that. And it's basically engineered it and did both that and Win Hands Down and mixed those records, and he mixed it. He's spectacular at what he does, and it sounds killer. Really stoked.
Neil would be so proud of me. I didn't even break the plastic on this one.
You can open it. You can open it.
I don't want to ruin the sticker.
Right. That's my wife and my daughter and Joey's
you
wife.
Freak.
I know. I get like crazy about my vinyl, but this is this is a special red vinyl one, so I keep them nice.
You freak.
Metal Bay does a great packaging job. That's do a lot of record companies, and it's cool because metal people, God love them. They still want the aesthetics of a real album and CD.
That's right.
They don't. I know myself. Like I went to the show I was at last night. I go, do you have CDs? And I bought one of the bands. This band is Strain, which was a really cool band. They were rocking last night, and it's like I gotta have product. Like if I just download something, I just don't feel connected. I need something tangible to hold in my hands. The record, CD, vinyl. I'll look at the credits, maybe glance at them. That's about it. Maybe once, but still, at least I will do it once, and then
Absolutely. It's different because like back in the day, I mean, like, when you were a teenager, you would just sit there on your bed and just, stare at the lyric sheet and learn all the things. And it's like now I can't even read these lyrics without my glasses.
Oh, I mean, they're so small. I'm like, luckily, we added a couple extra pages, I was told to, because I was like, you can't read that.
Yeah, like our fan base is getting older. We need like the large edition of the lyrics. Yes.
Exactly. Or at least put a magnifying glass with every record that you sell or something.
Exactly.
It's interesting you should bring that up. We've talked about this many times. And John, you and I are the same age, 2 months apart. And Lori, I'm sure you can relate, is like when we were young people buying records, we would, race to the store on release day and you get these records and open them up and basically read every word and connect the dots and clean pot on it. And it's like the records were like, it was a big deal. The art.
Yeah.
When records were released at the store, we had lines around the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? Here's the crazy thing is that on the last couple tours we take product out with us. We sign it. We sell vinyl and CDs, and we sold so many.
Wow.
We recharted, which is insane. And that's from just live shows.
That's cool.
So, I mean, it's weird. Like thankfully we were able to sell records on the road because, I mean, back in the 80s, you couldn't do it. I think the merch companies had the power over it. And granted, there was record stores, so you didn't really need to. But at this point, with record stores being very few and far between, the reality is it's cool to sell product on the road, and we sell a ton. It's really awesome. Thankful to all the fans.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Hey, John, have you seen your Hardcore Legends trading card?
Oh, from back in the day?
No, this one.
Oh, you know what? I don't think I have seen that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. This is the John Bush Hardcore Legends trading card. That's
rad. I want one of those.
Front. Yeah. Josh is watching the show, and here's the back. The back is very cool.
Let's see.
Yeah, here we go with the back. Boom.
Josh does a great job on these. Good research.
Oh, wow.
Look what's going on here.
It's performed with. Wow, that's fun. 6 feet under.
Damn, bro.
Hammerfall. That's awesome. Ellison, Jamie Krista. Wow, what a trip. This is really, really cool.
From El Sereno, California.
That's hilarious. That photo's great too. Oh, that's cool. That's really
John,
awesome. I don't have that.
I am 7 weeks older than you, bro.
Well, you know what? You're still going, baby.
1963 represent.
You gotta love it. What a great year.
Yeah, 100%. What a great card. Hey, Josh, reach out to John. Get him his cards, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, send me one.
Oh.
Those are cool.
And wait, there's a rookie card. Yeah, here's a rookie. He does these rookie cards too, like from check out your rookie card, bro. Boom.
Oh my God. I mean, I don't think I've actually seen that one either, because I don't remember in the full suit of armor there. I haven't seen that either. That's really cool. And the rookie part.
Incredible.
I need
Yeah.
some of those. What's on the
The
back
fu-
of that?
The full suit of armor, bro.
And I
Come
only did that
on.
one time, one show. For
Jeez.
6 hours. Yeah, 19
Imagine dragging that to the gig, huh?
Oh no, that was it, man. And what was funny is, funny story with that. You know, me and my buddy Andy died a few years back. I love him, one of my best friends. But he was the Black Knight, and we had the fight off. And then we had timed it, and we practiced it, and of course, all the adrenaline got the most of me. So I was hitting him really hard and way off time in conjunction with because we recorded it in advance. And then he ended up being dragged off and went down the steps at this venue, Perkins Palace, which is a great venue theater in Pasadena. And he fell, and he was down there and couldn't get up in this full suit of armor. and everybody was up front, you know, I mean, on stage, and the show was going on. So he was like a turtle that couldn't, you know, get up. And
I've fallen and I can't get up.
exactly. And finally, one of our crew guys had to go down for something, and somebody saw him, and they're like, "What the heck?" And they picked him up, and he took it off. It's a pretty funny story.
That's great. Hey, let me take a quick sponsor break, and we'll come back and we'll take some questions from around the world, and we'll head down the home stretch. Okay, John?
Great.
We'll see you in a minute or two. You're excused. We'll see you in a couple minutes. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles live, knocking it out of the park today with John Bush from Armored Saint, Anthrax, and Category 7. I know people posted a lot of great questions during the course of the show. Please post them again. We are sponsored by blah, 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 and the Texas Silver Rush. They're a jewelry design firm and boutique store located in the birthplace of the Texas country music scene in Fredericksburg, Texas. They specialize in working with musicians in all music genres to design and create unique one-off pieces, as well as the styling for stage, album covers, promo photos, and social media exposure. Their client list includes Rock Roll Hall of Famers Gregory Lee, Ringo Starr, and of course, Agnostic Front. Information and online sales are being taken at their Facebook and Instagram pages, and of course, www.thetexassilverrush.com. Come on now, 126 Hardcore Clothing is a streetwear brand for restless individuals who don't compromise. They're about being positive, spontaneous, and true to yourself. For years, they experimented with several printing methods and materials and collaborated with a large number of designers and illustrators, always giving room for fresh perspectives while retaining the hardcore attitude. Get in touch with them and ramp up your game at www.126clothing.com. Last, but certainly not least, She Devil's Coven is a female-owned entrepreneur business based out of Connecticut. Owner Rachel King Key's handcraft soil wax candles set with intentions for your sanctuaries. She's accomplished a life goal dream since beauty school, debuting artist showcase Hotties and Hellions that features live bands, burlesque, sideshow acts, vendors, food trucks, and this year, a live auction with all proceeds going to the mental health program Punk Rock Saves Lives. Catch her live at the tri-state area doing her thing, slinging candles at events, and keep an eye out for her show coming to New York in the spring of 2026. You can find her on Etsy and on Instagram. That said, hey, just want to mention there it is. I know you're wondering, where's that Patreon link? Because I want to support the show and I want to join Patreon. Well, there it is. Use your communication device and scan that, and please join us on Patreon. There's the address. There's also a PayPal address if you want to make a contribution. Want to welcome our two latest patrons, Tommy Cole and Karen. Welcome aboard. Please, if you want to support the show, if you love the show, if you want to be a part of the show, join on Patreon. $2 a month, $5 a month. Come on now. Jump in the game. That said, also, please, if you're watching the show in a rerun, please subscribe to the Stone Films NYC YouTube page right there. And also pick up that communication device and follow us on Instagram at Stone Films NYC. And please reach over, give the show a thumbs up or a heart or a like. Get us in the algorithm. Yo, I'm in the algorithm. So that said, post up your questions. Go deep, get weird. Post them up, and let's see. Let's clear the deck, and let's bring on our co-host, Lori Dawn.
Hello.
Hey. Hello.
I have
What are you-
returned.
Oh, you women in the pee thing.
I have to stay well
What is
hydrated.
it with girls in this pee thing? Yeah,
I have to stay well hydrated.
right. Yeah. Guys will just hold it until they. Guys will hold it until
they die.
Till they
Until
piss
they
on
die.
themselves like an animal. Like, you know, like women are like, I have to pee. Like, all right.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. It's a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's bring on our friend John Bush. Hey, you ready for some questions?
I am.
Let's see.
Awesome.
The ones in green you're choosing, or
Yeah, the ones in green are super chat, which
Okay.
if someone wants to pony up a buck or two, and so that gets them to the front of the line, basically.
Okay.
Hey, John, how do you prepare for a live show, and is it different when you're in a studio?
I've been preparing really hard for these impending shows that I'm doing here, which we've got to finish and make sure we talk about those before we're done here. Just a lot of singing, a lot of prepping. This is probably one of the hardest I prepped in my life, actually, for a tour. Just, singing basically in my bedroom is what because I don't really have a studio. So I go in, I find songs on YouTube, and then I just sing to the songs of the set and just try to, it's a muscle. So you just got to work it, got to just keep on going and build it up. So that's what I do. Is it different from in the studio? Certainly the process is different because in a studio, you're doing things, you're looking for a little bit more accuracy, whereas live, I don't care. To me, it's of course I want to try to sing on pitch and powerfully and stuff, but I love a live performance, and live performance for a band like Armored Saint or for anything I do is live, and so there's just imperfections, and I have no problem with that. I don't want to see perfection in heavy metal, hard rock. I want to see it feel real and live. So to me, that's important. When you're recording, this is something that's going to go on a record, so you want it to be something you can live with later. You don't want to go, man, I'm out of tune on that, and now that's on a record. So I think I'm a little bit more about being more on point for making a record. That being said, I still would want to make sure that the performance feels just genuine, and it's not necessarily it's more about vibe, should I say. That's what I look for on a record. Live, of course, the whole vibe is the show. So
Right.
Yeah, and let's talk about this new band, Category 7, because holy shit. I mean, this band is insane.
Yeah, it's
Band
great.
is insane. You've got these two guitarists that are absolute maniacs on guitar. Jason Bittner, of course. There's so much going on here. How do you approach this really lyrically and just, are you writing the melody lines to this as well? Like, because this is dense.
yeah,
And it doesn't come off as cluttered at all.
no, it's a killer record. It's pretty, I hate using the term organic because it's certainly overused, but I've used it too much. But it really was how this kind of got put together. I heard from Phil and Mike, the two dudes who are the guitar players in the band, and they're like, "Would you be into this?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know. I mean, I got a lot going on." It's actually it's usually my take to say, how can I tell this person that I don't want to do this, that I can't do this? That's like in my mindset. Not that coming from
these people.
not coming from an arrogant standpoint at all, but more of like, man, I don't know if I have the time for this, quite frankly. But I was like, but I don't know. Me and Phil, we're buddies through Metal Allegiance, and so we kind of got to know each other through that. And I was like, well, send it to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then they sent it to me, some of the ideas, and I was like, wow, this is rad. Like these guys are just shredding, and the song song structures and the riffs were amazing. So I was like, you know what? I love it. Let me try to work on it. Let's see what I can bring to it.
Right.
So I think that was the important thing, is what could I bring to it? And I started writing, and luckily the songs came together really quick. And next thing we know, we demoed a couple songs, and then we're like, that's great. So let's just write some more. Next thing we know, we had like 10 tunes. So it's like, well, let's put it out. What are we going to do? Why not? So
it's just a bag check.
Phil Demmel, Jason Bittner. Come on now.
Well, Mike Orlando and Jack Gibson is a killer bass player too. I mean, they're all incredible musicians and just super talented guys, and seasoned veterans of the hard rock and metal community. And I'm honored when I get to play with those guys, because they're incredible musicians and they elevate me. So
I've known Jason Bittner a long time.
Jason's awesome. He's like a mini Charlie. He really has that kind of style, and he does stuff, and I just marvel at his ability.
Play drums in Stigmata from Troy, New York, a hardcore band. So, our good friend and supporter Chris Cantos asks, how do you feel about the term legacy band and the negative connotations attached with it as it pertains to older bands that are still playing live?
Well, look, I don't really get caught up in much of any of that stuff, quite frankly. I mean, a lot of people said the Category 7, it's a super group. It's like, look, I don't want to be associated with anything called a super group, because I don't think of myself like that. It's just, I think that I'm a pretty talented, seasoned singer, but I'm super group. That's weird. I don't like it. So,
yeah, right.
I've never really been a big fan of these associations or these terms that to kind of generalize the type of music, because I think they kind of pigeonhole you sometimes. Don't get me wrong, sometimes bands benefit from that, and I understand that. For me, like Armored Saint was probably a band that never really fit in with one. So it was, what are they, power metal? It's like, why can't we just be like a metal band or a hard rock band? But to me, I don't really get caught up in too much of that. So the legacy thing, I don't think I certainly am not offended by it. It is a way of people to kind of identify with these older bands that have been around a long time. I guess it sounds better than the geriatric band or, the senior citizen metal band. I mean, it would probably be a little less complimentary, but at the end of the day, I don't really get caught up in on that stuff too much. It's like, whatever, that's what they're saying, then cool, so be it.
Sure.
And then you're going out on these dates coming up. Now, I saw you a couple of years ago with Metal Allegiance, and you played a couple of Anthrax tunes there. So is that what kind of gave you the bug about this tour coming up, or?
Well, I've honestly been just talking about it for a long time. That's really what it comes right down to. Obviously, the truth of the matter is the Anthrax guys, they just don't really play some of that material that I was part of in the 90s for a couple different reasons. And I get it. I really do. I understand. I mean, Joey has the songs from the 80s that he was part of. They've actually made 2 new records, and they've just finished a 3rd album of new material. So there's a lot of stuff there. And so, maybe he also is not completely comfortable singing with some of it. So I get it. I really do. I'm not offended. My only thing is, I don't want those songs and that whole part of my career to just be eliminated. And for a period of time it was, because some of those records weren't even available. So I'm like, look, I know it's competitive to put, Stomp with, an album like Among the Living or Spraying the Disease. But my whole thing was, it would be cool if somebody wanted to buy the record, if it was at least available, if you don't mind. So, and that's what I was striving for. So for a while, I toyed with this idea of going out and doing a small tour or doing some dates and playing those songs from my career in Anthrax. And I keep putting it back and keep putting it aside. And then I don't know about the time, and then I'll do another interview, and then I'll say it, and then boom, it's like the first thing on Blabbermouth. And so finally, it's like, look, my agent, and I got to give Dan DeVito all the props, because he is really the one who's said, let's do this. And so finally he's like, dude, let's do it. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. I have some time in between the same record coming out and us finishing it. And I'm like, let's just do it. And so we came up with the idea of these three shows: LA, St. Charles, Illinois, New York. And we kind of use the idea of like, well, I had this other band in Category 7, and these guys are incredible players, and why not have them play on it? And then we could actually play some songs from that. It's a long set, and that's one of the daunting aspects of it, but I've got it down. I think we're going to feel pretty confident about it all. And these guys are incredible players. So I know they're going to give all these songs the love that, you know, they deserve. And we're going to do these 3 shows, and people are fired up, and I'm fired up. So
yeah, it's going to be incredible.
That's all. That's awesome. People are really excited to hear you sing some of those songs. So
I am too. I mean, I'm excited. I've been practicing my ass off.
Yeah. Was it sort of a daunting task, or what was it like to revisit some of this stuff?
Well, it's funny. A lot of it came right back to me, which is cool.
That's what happens.
That means that I guess I haven't got full dementia yet, but knock on wood, I shouldn't even laugh at that. But the reality is, you know, I do want to play some deep tracks. Obvious songs are, you know, the obvious ones that I'm going to play, but I didn't want to just play the obvious ones only. I wanted to play some deeper ones too. So those were the ones I had to work on a little more, even some that maybe we didn't even play more than a handful of times, or if ever. But it's going to be really cool. We're going to start rehearsing on Wednesday, and it's going to be really exciting to do this. And you know, the Whiskey Show sold out. New York is close. St. Charles is a bigger venue, but that's close to being sold out. And I'm cherishing all the fans that are excited about coming and seeing it.
That's awesome. Fantastic. Yeah. So
here's a good one. Michael LaRoche. John, guilty pleasure music that you listen to that might surprise us?
Well, I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure. I mean, I am a huge fan of old school soul and R&B. That's like some of my favorite music to ever listen to. I grew up on bands like Earth, Wind & Fire and, you know, Stevie Wonder and the Commodores and OJs and BT Express and, you know, just I love that kind of music. And certainly I've modeled my singing style after that. As much as I love metal and, you know, guys like Rob Halford and Dio, and, you know, I love like Maurice White and Stevie Wonder and, Al Green. I mean, to me, those guys are as important to me as the metal world. And that I love that kind of music. I love bands like the Black Pumas, who are really cool, soulful, new R&B type band. Leon Bridges, the killer singer. The dude St. Paul is a killer singer. He's a white boy and he belts out that stuff. Sounds like a brother. So all that stuff. I mean, I've talked about it a lot through the years because I love that kind of music. So it's not really a guilty pleasure. But you know, it's some of my favorite. I mean, I'd put old school R&B and soul and even new bands on the same level as metal. You know, I love it equally as much. So
cool.
Yeah, that's right.
I used to really, my kids, when I would take them to school in the morning, when they were going to elementary school, I'd put on KUSC, which is a classical station here in LA. And I would play that in the morning and probably drive them crazy because they're like, why do we have to listen to this? And I'm like, it's 7 in the morning. I'm not playing Motorhead. Like we're just, you know, we're going to ease into the day. You're going to listen to some Mozart. So,
yeah.
There's
no guilt when it comes to music. Just pleasure. Just pleasure.
It's, I mean, to me, I think it was something that Scott said years ago. He goes, music's like food to me, and I love all kinds of food. And the same way, about music. So let me give him props about that. And that's the same. Like people say, what music do you not like? And I'm like, really, there's nothing that I really don't like. I mean, yeah, there's some modern pop that I think is pretty bad, and some new school country that I kind of find sounds like really bad hair metal that just sounds overproduced. But there's some artists through there. Charlie Crockett, he's not part of that scene. He's like more like a throwback country guy. He's awesome. But like there's really, I could probably find something that I like in all genres of music. So,
hell yeah.
There's nothing that I go, okay, that's just straight up crap. Some of the hip hop that my son listens to, he pulled up the other day and I'm like, who's playing that crappy music? I'm looking outside and I'm like, what's that?
It's my son.
I love some of the covers that Armin Saint has done throughout the years. I love One Chain.
One Chain was cool. I love it.
So good.
Levi Stubbs is one of my favorite singers of all time. That dude is like a rock.
Saturday Night Special.
Saturday Night Special. I mean, what's funny is that song would probably never even be recorded this day because it would be too controversial.
That's yeah.
Honestly,
Leonard Skinner, like the original punk band, you know.
Yeah. Great. Ronnie Van Zant was a killer singer.
They were great. I love Leonard. Leonard Skinner was great. Here's interesting one. Hey, John, did you ever meet Dave Pritchard's mom? She was my teacher and a very nice lady.
I know, so funny. Yeah, Dave's parents were awesome. They were school teachers, and they were from Canada, and they were just really cool parents. I mean, we put them through some hell a little bit because we would like get Dave, and we would, because he was the new young guy in the band, and we would say, okay, Dave, we're gonna go out, and we're gonna not let anyone know that we're sneaking out here, including your parents. So let's go. And we sneak him out, and then he would always get busted. Like his dad would walk out of the front door and go, David, and he's like, oh man, I can't go. And he was always kind of like matter of fact about it, but his parents were really cool. They were always supportive, and sometimes we put. And
your mom used to run the fan club back in the day as well, right?
Oh yeah, my mom and my dad. They did. My dad would go get the mail from the Temple City.
Let's see it, Lori.
Oh, did you get a letter? Did you?
I got letters.
Yeah, you got letters. I wrote a lot of letters to people. I mean,
let
me see. Get it a little closer. Yeah, that's my writing.
Oh wow.
I would help out, and my mom and Bob Nalbany, and God love Bob, he died not too long ago. He was awesome, big fan of the bands, and did some documentaries, and he was a great dude. And he ran the fan club for a while. And
that's great, man. That's really awesome that your parents were a part of it.
My parents were great, and they were awesome. They were a big part of it. You know, and the Sandoval parents were very big supporters as well. They let us practice in their garage, and we are, all our families were big supporters of what we did, and it was cool. And Gonzo and Phil's mom still, like, she made these dolls of them that were really cool.
Wow,
that's great. Hey, Steven.
That's really nice. That's really nice.
Hey, Steven, you got a question?
I do, actually, and it's funny because you just started to touch on it, talking about some of the covers you've done over the years. You did some phenomenal covers with Anthrax. Love Her All I Can from Kiss.
That was awesome.
No Time This Time from the Police.
That was Frankie singing the lead vocal on that.
Which is another great. That was that was an interesting choice. Vita Zay by Cheap Trick.
Yeah, that was cool. A great song.
And Cowboy Song as well.
Thin Lizzy, one of my favorites, of course. So yeah, all that was great. Love Her All I Can was really cool because it was with Paul and Gene. So, I did the verses, and then they came in and did the chorus, which was, pretty stellar. We recorded that at El Dorado, as a matter of fact, the studio where we recorded the record, and to do that with them and to be on a recording with these guys. So I saw it at Anaheim Stadium when I was 12 on the Destroyer tour, and be in the studio and do that. I was pretty lucky.
Here's a picture that Steven happened to have taken.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that you took that picture?
Yes, I did.
And that was at what was it called?
The Grand.
Oh, the Grand. So wow, dude.
Awesome.
But John, what was this?
It was, I guess Gene came up. I don't know I think we might have did She.
You did She.
Yeah, okay, because we did that on the Kiss tribute record.
Yep.
That's weird. Is Gene wearing a cross?
It's like a
sun, but it looks a little cross-like. That's pretty funny for the Jewish man that he is. I was like, whoa. Wow. You know what? I don't think I've ever seen that photo. That's really cool.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Stephen Messina in the house.
Dude, you captured that one. It's pretty awesome.
And then here's another one of Steven's shots, which I like because, and Steven, this is you in Greece?
Yeah. This is at the Hammers Festival 2019.
With the sword. And that was from the other band that played?
Yeah, the band called Eternal Champion.
Right.
And the guy had the board, and he...
That is funny. I guess they were like...
grabbed it and ran out with it.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, well, come on, I'm an Armored Saint. I guess I got to come out with the sword for at least... That's cool. That's a great shot. That's really cool. You're a good photographer.
That was a great set. I mean, that place was going crazy. And
I mean, Greece is one of the best audiences in the world, hands down, for sure.
You mentioned Greece. I was going to ask you, are there any places like when you see the itinerary or that you're just like, oh, hell yeah. Like a place that like has just always loved Armored Saint? That's just like a bastion of love for Armored Saint. Any places like that around the world?
Well, I mean, through the years, it's certainly I love Europe. I mean, Germany. Anytime you're in the Mediterranean, some places like Spain. Obviously, Glasgow, Scotland is always an amazing place to do shows.
Sure.
South America is always off the charts for sure. Montreal is a great city. I always say like Chicago, and I'm not just trying to brown nose to promote the show that I'm doing, but anywhere in the Chicago area, Milwaukee. I mean, those are some of the best cities in America for sure to play. Certainly Detroit, Texas. I mean, obviously, I got to give props to LA, and that's our hometown. And anytime Armored Saint plays in Los Angeles, there's always a special feeling to it. So, I mean, I've had a lot of great shows, places, Tokyo, you name it. I can't wait to do this New York show. It's going to be very special. So, it's very few times I see something and go, oh no, that show's going to tank or not be good.
Right.
You still give everything you got. I mean, that's the way it is. This is our job.
Sure. Hey, I'd be amiss. This looks like just a lot of fun. Could you tell us about Metal Allegiance?
Yeah,
that's cool. I don't know. I guess I am in there. Yeah.
Yeah, you're on the right.
Yeah, the Metal Allegiance thing is always a lot of fun. It's always really just a good thing. It's a good time. A lot of different songs are played. Some of the originals. I mean, after we're done with the shows that I'm doing in January, there's a Metal Allegiance show that I'm doing, and I got to kind of get back and relearn some of those tunes again too. But I have sang on one of their records, and I've done a few of those songs live that are original tunes. Some that Marco Segura has done. Mark's a great singer, and he's pretty busy, so he hasn't done a couple of last MA shows. But it's always a piss to do it. It's a lot of fun. Chuck Billy is always a part of it. Of course, the original band with Portnoy and Ellison and Mark Mengy, who's the guy who actually puts it all together. So it's always a lot of fun. Andreas from Sepultura. I mean, Demo, of course. The list goes on and on. There's probably people I'm forgetting, but it's always a blast, and it's just fun. It's a loose thing. You play covers, you play some of the original tunes, and it's always a lot of fun. And as I've said about the MA guys, is the same way as I say the Category 7 guys and the Saint guys for that matter. Just these are rad musicians and the same with the Anthrax guys. I mean, when I was in Anthrax, these guys bring me up, and that's the way I see it. Those guys in MA, come on, Alex Skolnick, he's like one of the greatest rock heavy metal guitar players of all time. So it's cool to take the stage with him.
Yeah, it was incredible seeing Metal Allegiance, and I highly recommend anybody who can get out and see that show. It's a lot of fun. It's like one big.
Associated with NAMM, so we always play the House of Blues in Anaheim, and it'll be a lot of fun. I only have one song that I have to learn, and I'm like, I can't do this till after these John Bush shows. But then I'm like, okay, and I mean, because the other ones, they'll probably come right back to me. But I don't want to say what song it is because then it won't be special.
Okay.
But there's one I got to learn. So
all right.
As we head down the home stretch, final questions. If anybody has something for Senor John Bush.
Almost done with my coffee.
Yeah. We're timing it out just right.
I saw you in 2022, I think it was. That's when you blew your voice out, I think, a little bit. You had gotten sick.
What show was it?
It was, so I saw you on Long Island and you surprised us all. Yes, you surprised us all by coming out for the end songs, Can You Deliver, I think, in Madhouse. Yeah.
That's a great venue. It's a killer venue. I love
it is really cool.
Drake and with Wasp, and it's a rad venue. It's speakeasy there, and beautiful lights and sound equipment, and I always love playing there. So that was a drag when that happened, but it's I had to just keep telling myself, "You're injured." Again,
it happens.
Using sports metaphors, and you're just injured, and you'll be back, and. It's a drag. It was weird when I saw Armored Saint open for Wasp on the first leg, and it was at the show in Jersey. The theater escapes me at the moment, but it was right across the bridge, and that was a great show. And I couldn't play, and Jason replaced me, and I was watching from the soundboard with Bello, and him and Mike Monterulo came. Anthrax's manager, and he was just you couldn't get a better opportunity for Bello to bust my balls, and he would take any opportunity to do it. And he was sitting there going, dude, he's killing it. I don't know, man. And I'm like, he is. And we're standing at the soundboard, and I'm watching Armored Saint play, and it was a very surreal moment. And so it was humbling. You know, it was a humbling thing. But I was happy for Jason, and he did a great job. And of course, Bellows ribbing me, and it was worth it. But
it was.
You know, it was still cool, and that's life. You know, this stuff happens. I almost think it's cool for somebody to see things like that, because you're seeing something off the cuff. You're seeing something that isn't planned. It's, you know, something that, you know, is surprising. So even though it was me not performing, which sucked, it was like, some people are seeing something that they're not normally going to see.
Yeah, well, it was a great show, and then we had a nice surprise because you were able to come out at the end.
I did.
So a really special moment of the night too for us was, you know, Wasp, when they did that montage of, you know, when the bands went before the Senate, I guess, or the Congress for the, you know, the Filthy 15, you know. And I worked at the record store when that was all going on. And I was wondering what your thoughts were, you know, back then about, you know, having the stickers put on the records, and what you think about it now that you're a parent.
Well,
you know,
I mean, look, I guess in the end, I didn't really have much of a problem if they wanted to put the stickers on it in terms of telling people what the content's going to be. I mean, it's not that different from a movie rating, in all honesty. So, you know, certainly you don't want to censor a record completely, but to say, okay, you're going to get a bunch of profanity on here, maybe some sexuality on it, you know, and hence we'll let the buyer know. I guess I didn't have so much of a problem with that. The whole, you know, Tipper Gore, you know, PMRC, that was kind of weird because they were getting into some weird stuff. Kind of weird considering that, I mean, they're Democrats. You know, Al Gore was.
Yeah, it was like, wait a second, what's going on here?
Surprising. But at the end of the day, you know, it was kind of a weird time. But, you know, we had all these people that supported it. Guys like Blackie, certainly D. Snyder was, you know, speaking out about it. And, you know, what are you going to do? It's like, you want to know what you're getting into, but yeah, you know, it was weird. It was a weird time for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember, you know, working at that record store, and like, you know, parents coming in and being like, you know, I would like to buy the new, you know, whatever it was, Venom or Celtic Frost for my kid for Christmas. And I'd be like, okay, here you go. You know,
There it is.
Have fun with that. Merry Christmas. Yeah,
right. Exactly. Well, you know, again, like I said, I don't have necessarily a problem with, in my personal opinion, I'm not speaking for anyone else, but, you know, if you're telling people what they're going to get, you know, within reason, I think that's okay. You know, if you go see a rated R movie, you know, you're going to see some violence, you know, so whatever, but, you know, just don't censor it completely. That's ridiculous.
absolutely. Yeah, I think that was, you know, that was kind of and I know, like, as a parent, you know, I want to know what my daughter's listening to, you know?
Yeah. I think that's legit.
Yeah.
God, there's this one comment that just made me laugh, and that made me laugh out loud. I'm just trying to find it because I want to post it, but I know what it is. Hold on, let me find it.
Yeah, I see the one guy says, Chris says, you know, the thing about the stickers is that the irony is when they started putting on it, that's immediately what everyone wanted. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The
Pointing out the good records.
Yeah.
The question, I can't find it, but I know what it is. And oh, here it is. Whoa. Is the heart of rock and roll still beating?
Yeah, well, that's, you know, I was in a Huey Lewis video. I did a cameo for the Heart of Rock and Roll. It was really cool. They met those guys, and we were on the same label. We had just signed a Chrysalis, our A&R guy knew that they were doing a video and said, hey, you should use this guy is a new band that we just signed. Their record's coming out. He looks like a rocker. So they said, you want to do it? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. It'll be cool. And of course, they put me in all this makeup, so I looked. Yeah, so it's pretty.
I'm trying to negotiate it. Hold on.
Yeah, it's more in the middle.
Without getting flagged. Hold on. I have it. It's at 1:30. It's at 1:38. So, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the great John Bush cameo in Huey Lewis. Here we go. Without the sound, it's gonna get flagged and shut the whole show down. But
the whole show down.
Here you go.
Nice rolls.
There you go.
There he is.
That was the outfit that I was wearing on stage. I certainly wasn't wearing the makeup that was my stage outfit. And then I get out and then the girl follows me shaking her butt. But yeah, it's fun. It's cool. It's right there at the Chinese theater. Actually, no, that was at the old Gazzari's right there.
Oh, that's the old Gazzari's.
That's the old Gazzari's there.
The old Gazzari's parking lot.
Yep, that's exactly where it was.
Wow.
Amazing.
That's
And I
pretty
also,
great. That's pretty great.
And that's a great record, sports record by Huey Lewis.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I was reading about Huey Lewis. He lost all his hearing. He can't hear anymore.
That sucks. Oh,
Yeah.
man. The guy, that's terrible.
Yep.
I also spotted Anthrax in Calendar Girls with Helen Mirren.
Yeah, I was in that too. Me and Scott and Frankie did that, and that was real fun. I mean, that was just kind of a spontaneous thing that happened. It was cool to do that because there was some. I mean, Helen Mirren's in that.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, I mean, some very, very top-notch British actresses. So it was fun. I mean, it was no stretch. We were just like laying by the pool and playing ourselves. But I still get checks from it for like $8, $13. I'm like, I got a calendar check to my wife. It was like $12.
Yeah, yeah. So
cool. All right. Well, hey, it was a party.
It was. Thanks for having me, guys. This was like
thank you so much.
maybe the longest interview I've ever done, but certainly a lot of fun, and we covered a lot of things.
Anybody you want to thank? Anybody you want to shout out, John?
Sure. My wife, for starters, she's awesome. I love her dearly. She's in Colorado with my son. She's giving me, I'm not looking at my phone because that would be very rude, but my son plays hockey and he's in a game right now. So she's there with him and he's plays for the Junior Kings, which is real cool. My daughter, who's in college, she's at Kenyon College in Ohio, and she's coming home pretty soon for the holidays again. I just saw her for Thanksgiving. Love her, miss her. She's doing great. You know, all my band members, the Saint guys, of course, you know, our new records Killer, and the Category 7 guys in this Anthrax thing that I'm going to be doing. Thanks to the Anthrax guys. If you can make it to any of the shows, cool. But, you know, please come out 13th at the Whiskey, December 18th at St. Charles Arcada Theater, and December 20th at the Racket in New York City. Please come out. And then, you know, certainly Metal Blade, Brian, Tracy, you know, I love them. And, you know, they, if it wasn't for them, you know, I wouldn't be able to make new music. So thanks a lot, guys. And
yeah,
thanks for having me and wanting to chat with me. I appreciate that.
One of the good guys, John Bush, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Because then that sucks, but yeah, a little good.
Yeah.
Laura, you were saying?
We're still metal kids, you know. Armored Saint was always a favorite at Agents of Fortune record store on Long Island. And, you know, and that was with Neil, who's no longer with us, unfortunately. So, you know,
the other Lori, I don't know if you guys are friends still or if you're cool.
Yeah. I mean, Facebook friends at least, you know. Lori was there, Gail Flug.
She still comes to shows. And yeah,
absolutely. Cool. And we still go to Armored Saint shows together. So
well, I expect to see you at the New York show. You better be there.
I will.
Come into the city. Come on.
Thank you, John.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
We'll talk to you soon, man. Thank you so much.
All the love. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Take care.
Out. Bye.
That was awesome.
John Bush, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. That was a lot of fun. Yeah.
He was great.
I mean,
he was very, very. There's a guy. That guy's a lifer, man. That's a guy. When you think about it, the guy was in his mother. His mother. That got me. His mother and father ran the fan club. The guy's in a friggin' band with the kids he grew up with. You know, the guy's been dicked around by the business, but he's still in the game for the love of being in the game. He's
he's like one of those people that will take the time to talk to fans, you know, and to interact with them. They were always like that, even as young, crazy kids, you know, when you're all wrapped up in your own garbage and whatever. But they were always really, really nice people. And we loved having them. They were one of our favorite bands that came through the store. You know, we dealt with a lot of, you know, rock stars, you know. So
you know what? Just for that, I'm putting up that picture again. Where's that? Where's the great Lori Dawn and John Bush picture? Here
young when I was 2 years old.
Right. God, it's amazing how you got out. Your parents let you out at 2 years old, and how mature you looked.
I was
How
so
mature you looked at 2 years old.
2 years old.
Incredible how mature you looked.
Record store. Yeah.
Geez,
Yeah.
Judge, she didn't look. Geez, she looked at least 21.
Yeah, I was 2 years old in that photo. Yeah.
Right.
Great.
Amazing.
I know.
That's cool.
I know. I wish I still had all that hair too.
Yeah. Yep. Very, very, very cool.
Yeah.
So that was
This is a
fantastic.
good one today.
Fantastic one. And we will see you back
Yes.
hosting with
going
me
on.
when we have Candace on the show.
Yes, absolutely.
You like do all the metal shows.
Yeah.
And then you are going to be co-hosting with Jennifer Finch.
And this one I am very much looking forward to as well. So L7.
Right.
All right.
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
go. Yeah. So, but we'll see you first at next week. We got a couple of coat drives coming up. So next Friday night in Boston, Sonic Bomb, Butterbrain, they are going to be doing a Women of the Pit coat drive, and that is going to be for Pine Street Inn. And bring your coats out, see a great show. If you can't make it there, we have another one in New Windsor, New York. That's somewhere between New York City and Poughkeepsie, and that is with the women over at Outsider Magazine. So they will be collecting quotes there, and that's another amazing show. God's Favorite Lesser Minds and a whole bunch of other bands. And then on Sunday, we have our third coat drive in our beloved Bowery Electric in New York City. World of Chaos, Serial Poets, Tree, Butterbrain, My War, and yep. And there you got all the singers, Women of the Pit coat drive, your gently used coats or new coats to be donated to area shelters. And the other thing is that, John was talking earlier about, Dave and having such a hard time getting bone marrow. Well, punk rock saves lives. That's their main mission. They go to shows and they have people sign up for the bone marrow registry. And that's why these things are so important. We take it for granted. But, here you go. I mean, that was like the main issue with Dave. And so this is ensuring that nothing like that happens again. So Punk Rock Saves Lives. They will be there at our coat drive. Not only handing out their harm reduction materials, but also getting people to sign up for blood donor donations. So
very cool. And you mentioned My War. I just want to let everyone know tomorrow is the last My War rehearsal that we're doing. We have an incredible lineup. For those that may not know what My War is, it's a band. Listen, I don't want to call it an all-star band, but I play guitar and Zum plays bass and drummer Mike, and it's a bit like punk rock karaoke. Different singers come up, and it's people love it. And on this show, we have one of the guys from Minor Threat doing some Minor Threat songs with us. We got two of the SSD guys doing some SSD songs. I mean, this is really going to be fantastic. It's we got just so on and so forth. So if you're around on Sunday, December 14th, please come on down to the free all ages Sunday matinee at the Bowery Electric. It is the Women of the Pit coat drive. I also want to mention that we ID 12/20/25. We're playing the Jimmy Williams benefit at the Brooklyn. And sorry for the clanging. That is my New York radiator right next to me, clanging away. So at the Brooklyn Monarch, benefit for Jimmy Williams from Maximum Penalty with the New York All-Stars featuring Chaka from Burn and Orange 9mm, Craig Satari from Sick of It All, Armand from Sick of It All, and Maddie Pasta. And then Sunday, January 25th, the date has been moved a bit to Sunday, a week later. Sworn Enemy, Brass Knuckle Brigade, Nailed to the Cross, Dead Shot, and Fracture. So on and so forth. ID's playing with Tree on January 31st up in Albany at the Empire Underground. The next day, we are at Snapper McGee's with a couple of our pals in Kingston, New York. Yo, the Back to the New York Hardcore Roots series, we are heading back to where it all began, the birthplace of American hardcore, the A7. We're going to do a bunch of shows there, starting on Sunday, February 15th with ID, Silence Equals Death, Sad Plant, Dying Breed, and Reconstruction. And then, of course, Sunday, March 15th, non-residents Shoot the Five, The Long Wait, Direct 2, and RNX back in the Magic Room at A7. And yo, just a quick heads up that this Saturday, I will be moderating a DVD signing with Harley Flanagan at Generation Records here in New York City. That's Sunday, December 13th. Saturday. Like I said, Saturday. Listen, I'm heading up. We're almost on hour 3 here of non-stop, you know? Saturday, December 13th, and at 3 p.m. If you're in New York City, Harley Flanagan, Drew Stone, Laura Flanagan at Generation Records.
Perfect.
Harley Flanagan never disappoints.
Nope.
Nope. So,
and I would like to say that I got through the whole show without my couches being scratched up by the cats.
Yep. Drew, come to Denver. Okay. You can't even breathe in Denver. Why am I coming up? Let's get something straight. I'm not leaving this house. I'm not leaving my one-room apartment. Why go to Denver? Denver can come to New York. I'll only come to Denver if you have at least line up 150 people to breathe on me. Fucking animals, man.
Oh my gosh.
Drew, I got to thank you for that walking tour earlier this year. I was able to give a buddy of mine a half-ass version of it from Generation Records up to Irving Plaza yesterday. Did I see you yesterday? Did I see you at the show yesterday? You know, I apologize. I'm a little fried. I went to the show and there was a couple of people that were just like, I said hello to me and I was just sort of like, hi, a little out of it. Oh, no one can breathe in Colorado. Haha, talking about ID shows. Yeah, let's go to a place where nobody can breathe in, and I'll scream my brains out doing a hardcore show.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, you want to see Incendiary Device? Come to La Ciudad de Nueva York.
You know what? Come to sea level.
Yeah. Come to sea level where we can all breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you hear that radiator, bro? That's New York living, man.
I have some kind of, like, during our whole, like, for hours now, some kind of buzzsaw going on out there.
Gee, my heart. Oh, there's somebody outside with cutting the grass.
It's terrible.
You know, someone's mowing their lawn across the street.
It's very annoying.
There's people outside my window getting shot on a daily basis.
This is Cape Cod, okay? We have a buzzsaw outside.
Oh, you didn't see me, but you saw Shell and okay. Yeah.
Nice.
Incendiary Device need to come to the UK. We are working on it. Big announcement coming soon. We just signed with a European record label as well as an American record label. So there's a big press release coming out announcing the 2 record labels we signed with, the new record, shows, all that.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Yep. ARS-70. How's things in the graffiti world?
Thank you.
It's our graffiti historian.
You very much.
Yep.
This was a good one.
What else do we got? Hey, you were hey John, you were really a player in this show today, huh? Hey, I want to shout out a new patron I got during the show. Gabriel McPollin. What's up, Gabe? Thank you. See? Thank you. Man, we need patrons. You know, people come and go, but nobody's getting rich here. I live in a fucking studio apartment. Nobody's getting rich here, but the show needs some support. You think I'm driving around in a Rolls Royce living in a mansion from this? Jesus.
Hey, Hegs.
Yeah, Hegs, the the chronically late Hegs.
Yeah.
Hegs is the guy. He shows up when the show's over. Hey, I'm here, dude.
How
The
you
show's
doing?
over.
What happened? What was going on?
Yep. Contos, what's going on with you, bro? Got any shows coming up? And when are you coming to New York, Contos? You know? What else?
I would like to see that show on the 20th.
You know what? I didn't want to say anything because I can't go. I'm looking at my calendar. Why can't I go?
You have a show.
Oh, we're playing.
Yeah.
Listen, I know it's a hard choice. Whether you go see John Bush play or you come see ID for Jimmy Williams' benefit. All right? I know it's a hard choice, but
It is a hard choice, but
I know you're going to make the right one.
I'm going to see John Bush.
Yeah, right. Listen. Fuck my band. We suck. Go see John Bush.
Yeah.
You know, incendiary device. You can go see John Bush.
Yeah. It's going to be killer.
It's going to be killer.
Listen, that band, Category 7. Yeah, that's going to be awesome live.
Anybody that goes to that show, I tell you, anybody I find out any of you motherfuckers go to that.
Am I fired already?
You're done.
Because I'm going.
Oh my God. What are you doing, Contos? Oh, going to record the new Forbidden on January 5th.
Nice.
How long does recording the new Forbidden? Is that like when we record it, it takes forever. It takes forever when we record. That's because I go in like 10 times to fix my vocals. That's how I do it. I like go in, I do the whole take, then I go in, I do a lot of fixes.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, boy.
Oh, thank you, Courtney, with the super chat towards Drew Stone's Denver Oxygen Fund. You know what I remember? I'll tell you a Denver story. When I was managing Marauder, right, back in the day, it was a Marauder Fear Factory tour. And they played Arizona, and we were in shorts and T-shirts. And the next show was in Denver. And we drove like up to Denver into a snowstorm, like nonstop. And we got out in Denver in shorts and T-shirts, and it was snowing, and we couldn't breathe. Yep.
I've never been to Denver.
You should have Radio Guy on. You mean Radio Guy who goes to who's on all the film sets? That guy? Like the guy, like the homeless guy that my sister was asking me. Oh, okay. Oh, matched. Oh, here we go. Ain't this grand? Okay, match. So ID. Okay. Not sure what that means. Froze your balls off. Welcome to Colorado. Yeah, we got out of the van in shorts. And we were like, what the fuck? In memory of Mike, District 9. Absolutely. Yeah. Rest in peace, Mike. Yep. He was a funny guy. Mike was a funny guy.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
Love to his friends and family.
The new Forbidden album, 15 days, 4 for the drums. Amazing how bands could do that. And do the vocals get done in that time? If you told me you had to do the vocals like in this time, like I'd be like, yeah, dude. I gotta it takes me a week for my voice to heal so I can sing again. Yep. Go see ID. Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. Thanks. Steve Cropper passed away.
Mm.
You know what that is? You know who did that famous whistle and what song that is? Anybody know what famous song Steve Cropper did that whistle in? This is deep. And don't go look it up on fucking Chat GPT, you fucking freaks. It wasn't Booker T. That's right. Chris Contos, bro. Sitting
Yeah.
on the dock of the bay, right? Otis Redding. Of course, Chris Contos would know that. His dad's a legend in the business. That's right. Dock of the Bay. Otis Redding. That's right. That's right. Drew, how do you prepare for singing? Nowadays, I stretch. I actually try to stretch as much as I can. Stretch my whole body out because singing hardcore is just so intense. It's like, "Bah!" So I try to stretch as much as my whole body. We have a saying in the band: stretch now or cry later. So I try to stretch as much, including the muscles in my neck, and I gargle with something I heard Elton John saying that Leon Russell recommended. It's 2 parts apple vinegar cider and 1 part honey in hot water, and I gargle with that. I just try to loosen my body up as much as possible, and I don't sing from my throat or my chest anymore. I sing from my diaphragm. These are mistakes I made as a young person, and I used to like really tear my voice up constantly, you know. Yeah, I wear a cup. I wear a cup now. How do you warm down after a show? Huh.
Just go home.
No, not even go home. Deal with the bullshit. Deal with the bullshit of fucking. Chances are, a lot of shows we play, I'm involved in promoting it too. So I got to go deal with some kid that's puking upstairs, or some idiot that wants to fight, or some other bullshit. So how do I warm down? I just go deal with some incredibly stressful bullshit. That's how I warm down.
I tried this apple cider vinegar like drink. It was supposed to be like kind of
what from Trader Joe's? The one from Trader Joe's?
It was some kind of a cleanse. As soon as it hit my stomach, I have never thrown up so hard in my life.
You threw up like I haven't thrown up since I ate a handful of peyote in 1982. You know?
Yeah. Like I had broken blood, the capillaries under my eye.
I threw up so much.
I was like projectile, and it was like after like
I felt like Linda Blair in The Exorcist.
Yes, it was like
barbecue potato chips are good for your voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would love to give a shout out to Manny, rest in peace, the guy that gave the groove to the Stone Roses, and also Primal Scream. The guy was some bass player and Manchester icon. That's right. Rest in peace, Manny.
Yeah. See, look, Courtney is drinking. Okay, she's drinking
shot of apple cider vinegar with half and half. Half and half was really good.
It just it came right.
Power puke.
It just came right out.
I saw this thing with Elton John, and he was talking about the greatest advice he ever got from Leon Russell was about how to take care of his voice, and it was 2 parts apple vinegar and 1 part honey, and you gargle with it. And I gargle with that now, and it actually helps my voice. Plus, I have to say that for me now, singing the Incendiary Device songs are easier for me to sing than when I was in Antidote and I was singing some songs that I didn't sing originally, and I would not have sang in my vocal range. So now I'm not like stressing my voice to sing,
Right, because you're doing within what your vocal capabilities are. You're
right, and I'm more relaxed as I've gotten older. Thanks for the super chat. Be great to hear about her record store. What was your record? You sent me a picture of it, but it was a teeny picture, and I couldn't.
It's kind of grainy. Yeah.
No, it's not grainy. It's teeny.
Okay. Well, it's a teeny photo.
Well, here it is. To the best of. Let me see if I can.
It used to be called Wax Museum, but then they changed the name to Agents of Fortune after a Blue Oyster Cult record that was Neil's.
There it is. There it is.
Agents of Fortune Records. And if you see right in the window and everything, we've got the whole window plastered with Armored Saint, Delirious Nomad posters, and the record company used to send these. It looked like half of the album cover. They were like cardboard, and they had the album cover art on it, and you can make all these window displays from them. And so that was all decorated for Armored Saints in store with us. And it was it was a heavy metal and rock record store and a little small store.
It was that. Would you consider that a mom and pop record store?
Absolutely. It was owned by Neil Mayetta, who loved music. He loved guitar music, especially. We had Yngwie Malmsteen in there, and a lot of guitar oriented music. And then he got into selling a lot of heavy metal. And
did they sell bongs there?
No, it was just
they didn't sell marijuana smoking devices.
Nope, music, posters. That's probably why we went out of business. It was music, posters, collectibles, and a lot of really cool picture discs.
Yeah, bands don't do in stores anymore. Well, at Generation Records, we do some stuff.
They'll still do the record release parties and stuff like that. But there was a lot of picture discs and stuff. I don't know if anybody's ever had those. The vinyl with the picture of the of the album art on it. Really cool. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Chris, and your wife.
Chris Contos and his wife were original Guar maggots.
Oh, really? That's so cool.
I told him this when I saw him. One of my first memories of meeting Chris Contos and his wife, they just did a Guar show, and they were maggots. They put them through a meat grinder, and they wiggled out in the end, and they were I guess they were called Guar maggots.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
I just got a text. Here's in my world, here's a text. Hey, Drew, I just got your number from Will. He told me to reach out and see if you guys would be interested in playing on an upcoming show. Okay, bro. Who are you? Who are you? What are you talking about? What?
Just say yes.
Maybe it's John. You know what? I think it's John Bush. Maybe it's John Bush. Bro, we'd love to play with Armored Saint. We're a little, you guys want to open for ID? At the A7?
Yes, I think they do. So, jump in the fire picture discs. I had some Metallica picture discs. I had some Iron Maiden picture discs too. So yeah, it was cool. It's a cool time.
But yeah, we can't play with Armored Saint. We're booked that night. Yeah. We're playing some really inconsequential show with Danny Diablo in Brooklyn. Hey, somebody asked, has it gotten easier for me to sing as I've gotten older? Yeah, it has, actually. Yeah, what would you say that your voice has gotten better? Yeah, it has. And I tell you, part of the reason is because the guys I've been playing with, their level of musicality is high, and they challenge me. Right. In my band, we challenge each other a lot. So I've been forced to sort of really bring a game where, left to my own means, I would do the best I can. But having Tristan and Zum around, they're like, you should do this or you should do that. And, that helps.
Okay.
Yeah. But make no mistake about it. I have a really, I'm challenged. I'm like a white kid, basically who you could trace back to what do you call it? Eastern Europe. I'm really not supposed to be singing at all.
No,
it's not in my genes.
But it's just an interesting thing that we were talking about in the pre-show. It's that they're young for such a short amount of time,
Yeah.
And then this is the body you have. So.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh wait. Oh, here we go. I said, "Ha ha ha! Who is this?" He said, "Chris De La Rosa." If you're watching the show, which you're not, you know what, bro? Hey, check this out, Chris De La Rosa. How about no? You're not even watching my show. Why would I want to play when you know what? How to make friends and win over people, starring Drew Stone.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, that Guar show was at the Roseland Ballroom. They dragged the blood-soaked stage rug across the dance floor and left a 2-foot blood stain. It was 20 feet long. They got in trouble big time.
Oh man.
Who's the Johnny Ramone in my band and who's the DD? Yo, everybody in my band, yo, I'm in a great band. I've been in a lot of bands, through the years, and Antidote and the High and the Mighty. Yo, my band, everybody loves each other in my band. We have a great band. It's like everybody's. I mean, there's a couple issues, but we really enjoy each other's company. We really enjoy playing music together. Yep. Can't say that's always the case.
Yeah.
I mean, Contos just saw us play. I mean, we fucking bring it now, man.
Yep.
We bring it. Have you ever had? Yo, Larry Kelly, what's up? Did you see I posted your picture with DMC? Do you see that, Larry? Where's the Larry Kelly picture with DMC? Larry Kelly representing.
We posted it.
With Daryl Mack. There you go. Larry Kelly, what's up? Yep. I work with. Yep. I go back with DMC. Got the gold record to prove it.
Yep.
Drew, you should tour. I did tour guide at the Punk Rock Museum during Punk Rock Bowling, and it was great.
Yeah.
We had a huge. Where's my? It was great, man. We had a.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's that great picture? It was awesome. Where's the great? No, not that one. Oh, yeah, that one. Hold on. Here it is. Oh, here it is. Here's the shot of my tour at the Punk Rock Museum. Anybody recognize the guy towards the back who stopped by during my tour with the face paint on? How about that? Yeah. This is during my tour.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I did a tour and it was great, man. It was. That's right, Monkey. That's Tristan DeGraves on the upper left from ID. The great photographer Randall Underwood in the middle. My wife Rochelle on the bottom right. Right above her is Jorge from Authentic Productions, who puts on the great Oi shows here. In the back is Mark Borg and the Mark Borg Collective. Michael Bitz from Mephistopheles. Monkey. Yeah, it was great. Not ICP, bro. Close, but not ICP. Yep. Greg Jacobs, the photographer. All right. There you have it. Oh, we're still doing the show?
Oh, yeah, we're still on.
Holy shit. 3 hours.
Yeah, my legs are numb.
All right, we're gonna stop before you pee on yourself. So thanks a lot. Here we go. Yes, drummer Mike's a good dude, man. Yep. There we go. ID in front of the Punk Rock Museum. This is like, let's go outside in the 300-degree Las Vegas heat to take a fuck. Look at my face. I'm like, can we just take the picture and get the fuck out of here?
It's brutal.
Oh, it's fucking brutal. It's
brutal.
Anyway, anybody you want to thank? Anybody you want to shout out?
So I just want to dedicate this show to my friend Neil at Agents of Fortune. So yep.
Is he still around?
No, he died.
Aww.
Yeah, he died about 13 years ago.
What was he the owner?
He was the owner.
The proprietor.
Yes, yeah, he was the proprietor, and it was hard. It was hard having a little record store like that. Especially at the end of the 80s, everything was getting switched over to CDs and stuff like that. And then, and he didn't want to. He wanted to do something else. So he actually moved out of New York for a while. He wrote He did records. We did a lot of records shows together after the store. So, and he was like a big brother to me. So it was a tough loss.
You know, business changes, man. The film business, the music business changes, and unless you're willing to make changes, the technology passes you by.
Yep.
Chris Contos just sent us this. Is this at the museum, Chris?
That's awesome.
Yeah. I got to get Fat Mike on this show.
Mm.
You know, let me address this. You ever think about filming the walking tour? You know, I actually filmed it, and we were going to, at one point, when I had a lot of things popping off on Amazon and the Alago film was on Netflix, I was going to cut it together and release it as a film, actually. And it's other things came into play. I have filmed it, and it's actually on YouTube if you look it up. I ended up just putting it on YouTube. So there you go.
Yeah.
That said. All right. Everybody, we will see you this Wednesday. If this guy responds, he's sort of like, what kind of show is it? What do I got to do? A computer? What's that? I gotta reach out to this guy again. That's this Wednesday. And then, of course, this Saturday, I will be moderating the Harley Flanagan Wired for Chaos DVD book event at Generation Records. And the next day is the big banger, the Women of the Pitcoat Drive Holiday Slamboree with My War. So we'll see you then.
We'll see you when we see you.
Thanks a lot, Lori. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Good night. All right. Good one. Lots of fun. Thank you so much for being a part of it. What can I say? I love doing the show, and I love the community that we have. Not to sound corny. Until next time, do good things and good things will come to you.